Today I effed up by getting a DNA test and revealing a family secret. This is OKOP, home to the craziest true stories on Earth. I'm Sophia, and Riley, what's your craziest secret?
I'm amphibious. I can use left and right.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first, brother.
So WYCZ Star says, I've always been interested in doing one of those at-home kits that tells you your ethnicity estimates. My mother has, for many years, claimed that her own great-grandmother was completely Native American, and I recently learned that this is apparently something common for Southerners to claim.
I am part Native American.
Yeah, but that it is rarely true.
Oh, wait, no, wait. I have facts to back this up.
I finally went ahead and bought one of the kits because there's nothing I enjoy more in life than proving my mother wrong. Fast forward a few weeks, I get my results. I am 0% Native American.
Are you happy now?
Which isn't exactly shocking. The real surprise comes from the fact that I'm also 0% Eastern European.
What?
This probably wouldn't mean much for most people, but I happen to be Polish, or at least I thought I was. I have an unpronounceable, very Polish last name. My great-grandparents were Polish-speaking immigrants. My paternal grandfather himself spoke Polish as a child. My first thought was that the test was a mistake. My results came over a week before the projected arrival date, and I knew I should be somewhere around 25% Polish/Eastern European. So maybe there had been an error somewhere at the lab.
So what do you think after hearing this? What could it be?
Immediate thought, she's not related. Based on the title also. And also the fact that nothing that what her family told her about her like heritage is true for her. Can't be related.
Can't be related.
Yeah.
But does she say she's white?
I think so. I think she's a white Southerner.
White Southerner.
Anyway, I started digging around through my DNA relative matches. I had matched with an extended cousin with my mom's maiden name, living in the state that she grew up in. So the DNA analyzed was definitely mine, and this was not a switch tube situation.
Ooh.
There were only two possible explanations. Either my own dad was not my biological father, or my Polish grandfather was not the biological father of my dad.
Which one would you want?
Grandpa.
You would want your grandpa not to be your biological father to your father?
Yeah, I would want my grandpa to not be my biological grandpa.
Okay. But okay.
Like that would suck for my dad, but it would be better for me. I'm sorry, Dad.
You're going to have to bear that burden. Carry that cross, buddy.
Yeah. I look a lot like my father, so it seemed unlikely that we weren't related. However, there was no strong family resemblance between my dad and his own father. In fact, my grandfather and many of his siblings had, we'll call it striking nose that my sister and I had often rejoiced in not inheriting. Also, my paternal grandparents had a disastrous marriage and a bitter divorce. An affair did not seem out of the question.
Oh, so the grandmother.
Yeah, grandmama might have had an affair.
Yo.
Yikes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's close with them.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Ooh.
My paternal grandfather died over 10 years ago, but my paternal grandmother is still living, and I gave her a call. It took a while for me to fully explain the DNA testing to her. She's 87, but we got there. She denied it and tried to explain the unexpected results with a long ramble about migrating European tribes before I was finally able to make her understand that I would be able to test relatives from the Polish side of the family and determine whether or not I was actually related to them.
Oh.
She told me that she didn't think that was a good idea and I should think about it before contacting anyone.
Dude, so she's denying it.
She's denying it, but she's like, also don't fact check me. Don't do that.
This is wild.
You're wrong, but don't check it.
Grandpa died not knowing.
Yeah.
And this is still alive.
But they were divorced. But yeah, that's still
They were divorced?
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, I mean,
They probably did know.
I don't think he did know. It doesn't seem like he did. I think I knew it right then. But it wasn't until today, 2 days later, that she finally admitted it to my sister. My father had been lied to his entire life about his biological father. So who is my actual paternal grandfather? To be determined. My grandmother promised my sister that she'll tell the two everything when my sister gets into town for Christmas. She requested that we not tell anyone until then. It's too late. My sister already told everyone.
Nice.
Yeah. She should have asked sooner.
But they put it on Reddit.
Yeah. So
Like literally telling everyone.
yeah, grandma was like, don't tell anyone. And they were like, what if we told
Internet
the whole
strangers.
world? What if we didn't know the people that we were telling? Is that okay?
Does that matter?
Is that fine?
That does bring up a
Yeah.
I would rather tell a stranger my deepest, darkest secret
Oh,
than
absolutely.
anyone else.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone feels that way?
Yeah.
Oh.
For me, at least. I can't tell everyone, but like, I feel like, I meet strangers and I'm like, yeah, this happened to me today. I feel this way. And they're like, yeah, for sure.
Nice.
I'd never tell, a person I've known for years that. Interesting. But there is an
Noted.
update.
There is an update.
Gotta get juicy.
What do you think
Yeah.
her excuse would be? It was only one time.
Yeah. That. I think she's gonna be like, I didn't mean to do it. It was, our marriage was failing. It was a different time. I didn't know how to divorce. But I still love you, and your father loved you.
Wow.
It was a different time. I hated your father. He was a mean man, and he was Polish. And I hated him, so I divorced him. That's all. Sorry, I don't know.
That was good. That was yeah. I like the old person accent.
That was good. Let's get into this update. In my previous post, I said that my grandmother promised to tell all when my sister comes to town next week. Officially, that is still the plan. But my sister, who apparently missed her calling as a special prosecutor, got my grandmother to admit to her over the phone the story of what actually happened. And it is ... interesting. It's juicy. Without going too much into my family history, when I first noticed the inconsistencies in my DNA test, I had an early idea who might be my biopaternal grandfather. Basically, my grandmother had a long-time family friend that she had known even before my grandfather, PG. To try and distinguish between the two men, I'm going to refer to them as PG for Polish grandpa and BG for bio grandpa. Got it. She and this friend maintained contact for years and years, all the way until both of their second spouses had died and they married each other. Wait. Their kids had grown up together even before they became step siblings as adults, and they are still part of my extended family as quote unquote aunts and uncles, even though bio grandpa died when I was a baby, almost 30 years ago. Over the years, there has been mild speculation that bio grandpa has possibly fathered my dad's younger brother. So they already suspected. No one really took it all that seriously, but he did look an awful lot like one of bio grandpa's and his wife's kids.
Wait.
So
younger
they're saying,
brother
yeah,
too?
younger brother. Yeah.
A 2 for 2?
Yeah, a 2 for 2. Twofer.
Oh.
Because of this, the day I got my test results and figured out what they probably meant, I called my sister and we ordered a test for her best friend, one of bio grandpa's grandchildren, who might be blood related to her.
Would it be?
It would be her second cousin. Telling this information to grandma was what finally made her admit it. I was going to be matched as a cousin with my sister's best friend, who, although considered a part of my extended family, should have been of no biological relation to me. But here's where it gets a little confusing. My grandmother claims that Polish grandpa was sterile as the result of something that happened to him in World War II.
No.
She says all 3 of her children are biologically from bio grandpa, but that it was all done intentionally through artificial insemination.
Wait. They had that technology back then?
I guess so. I didn't. I was also surprised about that.
Also, we have not read this story. I know it. I've checked. It just sounds so similar
to other stories. I've never heard this story before.
I falsely believe this is artificial insemination.
You don't believe it?
I know we have a little bit more to go through, but I don't believe it. I think he was boinking her. I think it was true raw dog, old fashioned insemination.
Yeah.
Ain't no way they had artificial insemination in the 70s, 80s.
Hold on. When was artificial
She's gonna lie to her face right now.
Insemination invented? Hold on. We're looking it up. 1899.
1899?
So that's World War II, wasn't that. So he would have come back latest like 1945, 1946.
How much did it cost though? Did everyone know about this?
It was probably expensive. but I don't know.
Let me ChatGPT this. It gained significant traction in the 1950s.
So it could have been, this could be true.
But it says, particularly with the development of sperm banks in Iowa.
Maybe they live in Iowa.
What? There's no
So
way.
what we're hearing is that it is possible for grandma to have gotten artificially inseminated. That's what I'm hearing. We're going to read on. She desperately wants this to be kept a secret from everyone, including my dad and his siblings, because she's worried that people will assume the worst about her. My dad and his siblings were born in the early 1950s. Does anyone know what the odds of this were? How common was artificial insemination back then? We just looked that up.
Not common, unless you're in Iowa.
Okay. Well, but not impossible. Would someone have really used a friend as a donor? More than 3 separate times, my grandmother had at least one miscarriage that I remember her telling me about at some point. My grandmother has a known history of rewriting events in her favor. Oh, I guess it really does not matter at this point why bio grandpa was the father, but it's really frustrating to feel like she might just be throwing in more lies on top of everything. And then some answers to common questions from my last post.
So, do you think it was artificial insemination? I'm hooked on this.
I don't know.
She did say she rewrites things in her favor, and it was not popular really in the 1950s. She has a 1 in 50% or I don't know what the statistics are.
Yeah.
The statistics are not in her favor.
And also the 2 people that could have confirmed are dead. So
Damn.
no one can offer confirmation if she's telling the truth, unless there was like maybe a doctor's, records or whatever.
Yeah.
That one's
tricky.
tricky.
You know what's messed up though?
What?
Is on her birth certificate, it's probably her Polish dad and not her bio grandpa or the dad.
Ooh, yeah.
I want to know what the dad feels.
Yeah.
If the dad knows.
They haven't talked about the dad at all.
Or any of
been
the
about
siblings.
the sisters. It's just been about like the grandchildren.
Oh, and earlier she was like one of my cousins on
grandpa's side.
Yeah, it was one of her relatives.
sister's best friends.
Yeah.
But is her cousin. Yeah.
Like they popped up.
Yeah. Juicy. But there's some answers to common questions from my last post. A lot of people wanted to know which DNA test I used. I used MyHeritage, but I have no idea if it's better than any of the others. I picked it because it was the cheapest. A lot of people also wanted to tell me that these tests are not very accurate. I don't really know what to say about that, except that it was accurate enough to know that I did not have any Polish ancestry. Some people wanted to know how my dad was taking all of this. He has not yet been told who his bio father was, but he did not have a particularly strong reaction to the original information. His opinion was that it did not particularly matter to him because whoever it was dead anyway. My dad is not one to dwell on this type of thing. My mother thinks my sister and I are being ridiculous for obsessing over the whole thing, but this is the same mother that still refuses to admit that she does not have any recent Native American ancestry. Right, that all started because OP wanted to disprove the Native American ancestry.
She wanted to prove her wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good for the dad that he's not dwelling on it. He's just like, I guess it's not my dad.
Oh.
Oops. Yeah.
Dude, that's...
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
That is so crazy.
They really uncovered so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate that the dad...
Yeah.
No clue.
Yeah, why? I wonder why they're not telling him. Because they told him that Polish grandpa's not his dad, but not that bio grandpa is. Like, not who the bio grandpa is. Which I'm like, why are they withholding that? Maybe he said, I don't want to know. Maybe they're like, hey, we got some information. And he's like, don't tell me. I don't want to hear about it.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, I think someone's keeping something, and it's probably grandma. There's some more secrets to be uncovered.
Way more secrets.
If they're brave enough to find them.
Oh,
some
man.
Nancy Drew stuff. Yeah.
Poor Polish grandpa.
Yeah.
Sterile.
Unless he was a bad guy. Maybe he was... he was sterile, right? Yeah. If according to grandma, they did get divorced, but according to grandma, that's not the reason why. Yeah, it was artificial insemination. So it was on purpose.
In a world.
Yeah.
You have a partner.
Yeah.
And you're like, he's sterile.
Yeah.
Who are you going to go to get some fertilizing goodies? You're going to go to a friend, or are you going to go to a bank where you're not going to have children, or are you going to adopt?
I could adopt. I'd be okay with that.
You'd be okay?
Yeah.
What if you're like, set in your heart, you want to birth a child.
I don't want to birth a child.
That.
I really don't want to birth a child.
This is another Sophia.
Okay, this is another Sophia that really wants to birth a child.
What are you doing? Where are you going?
I don't know. If I went to a sperm bank, I would only do that under the, like, if I was able to get medical records. Like if they weren't closed, because I feel like it's a little bit dangerous to not know anything about the sperm donor. Not because, like, you know, the child might be born with like things that you're not expecting. Yeah. Or like something that you're not expecting, but just you won't be able to treat it. Or like, let's say they have some sort of heart defect or something and you won't be able, you don't know to check for it, you know? Yeah. So I would only do that if I could get.
So not one of your friends?
I don't know.
I'd probably choose Sam.
I definitely wouldn't choose Sam.
Well, no, not you, but I'm just saying with my partner, if I was like, didn't have any shooters, which impossible.
Yeah. Maybe a friend. Maybe. I'd have to think about that.
Or our other friend, the musical friend that we have. I'd choose him. He's a good looking guy. Who else would I choose?
Yeah, you're like, who's good looking?
No. Oh my gosh, no. The other musical friend that, I'm just going to say his name. I would choose him. He's handsome. Oh my gosh, yes. I would, if I had to be someone for a date, it would be him or Matthew McConaughey.
Wow.
Yeah. That's who I would pick. Yes, I figured it. I need to text him that.
You need to text him that?
Yeah.
But that's the end of that story. But you know what I need to find, Riley?
What's that?
This next story.
I took a DNA test for fun and found out I had a whole other family. Since the start of this year, I have been unraveling a heritage mystery. I've been interested in researching my family history for many years and have bounced back and forth between my heritage and Ancestry. This is not a sponsored post, but this does come from Family Tree Mystery on the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
You got to test out all of your DNA options.
That's true.
I think what we do is we give everyone a little bit of our DNA.
Yeah, just spit in everyone's face.
Yeah, and you say, hey, whoever comes back with the most amount of family members
wins.
Well, guess what? We all win because we're all cousins.
Aww. In December 2020, I finally took the leap to DNA testing, choosing to use my heritage because there was a sale at the time and my aunt had already tested through it. Okay. When I got my results back in January 2021, they seemed weird.
How weird?
I'll tell you how weird. My mother's side came back with what I expected. Normal stuff. Almost entirely Italian with hints of other adjacent ethnicities. We've done our DNA stuff.
We're Polish and other white.
Other white. My mom was very...
She's Scottish.
She also
British, Scottish, and French.
Told us that we were 1% Nigerian.
That's everyone's 1% Nigerian.
I know, but she was very excited about that one. However, I was always told by my father that his English was mostly German and Dutch, with English, Scottish, and Welsh thrown in. We have a Germanic last name. I had spent years up to this point digging through records to trace my father's very confusing family line, and I was able to trace the Dutch side back through the settling of Albany, New York, and back further to the Netherlands.
What was that called? New Holland or something?
Yeah.
When they first came up?
Something like that.
Something.
Wait, New York was called New Holland?
Or I might be misremembering.
Something like that. I feel like I remember that.
The Dutch.
I was confident the DNA tests would back this up and give me more info on the other lines that I was missing, but my results came back as Jewish.
It's plot twist.
I was obviously confused. I thought maybe my dad had gotten his information wrong. He is elderly, doesn't have the greatest memory for detail, and didn't know much beyond his parents' generation for family info. His parents had died before I was born, so I was never able to speak to them myself. I talked to my mom about it, and she agreed that it was a plausible explanation. Basically, like, Dad's old. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Or she's a liar.
Yeah, or she's
trying
to
hide
cover it up.
something.
I remember saying to my mom, quote, before I waste any more time on this, Dad is definitely my biological father, right? Right? Well,
say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so. Well, say it ain't so. Say it is so.
Say it is so.
Well, Mom did surprise me by mentioning for the first time that they had been going for fertility treatments, but she had no reason to believe that my dad wasn't my actual father.
Well, What do you mean you have no reason? There's quite a couple
That feels
reasons.
like a reason. It feels like you were just saying maybe a reason.
Oh.
Well, fast forward to April 2021. Someone reached out to me via MyHeritage wanting to talk about how we were possibly related.
Whoa.
The DNA showed us as not too distant cousins.
Family expansion pack right here.
Oh,
New family just dropped.
Who dis?
Unboxing with me and my new family.
Unboxing my cousin? Why is he in the box? I don't know.
Who's to say?
This cousin and I started emailing, swapping family names and basic info, trying to figure out how we were connected. It quickly became apparent that we had no idea who the other was or how our families were related. Really quick, stopping right here.
I'm stopped.
What do you think? Are we thinking
cheating?
1, cheating.
Or 2.
2, is there anything else?
1, cheating.
1, cheating.
Well,
that's the only option.
Opie's mom said that they went to a fertility clinic. So
What?
I'm wondering if something
Was it
nefarious
an old school
happened
fertility
there.
clinic?
Yeah, they were like,
Where
oh,
it's like,
you're not really fertile, but this guy is.
Yeah.
Pass him in there.
All right.
Mix it up.
We'll exchange them midway so you won't know who.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those coconut shells.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're going to get Jewish.
At the encouragement of my cousin, I brought the subject back to my mom. I'm not particularly close with my family, and my parents have been divorced for many years, so I've never asked much more about things like this. Well, my mom explains about the fertility treatment she had previously mentioned. Just some dude.
Just some guy.
Some very fertile guy.
Yeah.
My father had a vasectomy before my parents were married.
Ooh.
Wait, so he couldn't,
I mean,
unless
you
he got it
s-
reversed.
Yeah, you could do a
Yeah.
snip snap.
What did
get it
Michael
back.
Scott say? I get a vasectomy and reverse it and back it back.
Do you know the toll of 15 vasectomies on the human body? Something like that. It's a quote from The Office.
Yeah, no, I gathered.
He's almost 20 years older than my mother and
Damn.
had been married previously with children.
Damn.
Okay, that's the old
Old
oldness.
man.
And we were going to a fertility center to help in conceiving me. They did a vasectomy reversal, collected multiple samples, and combined them. Then insemination.
Mm.
The clinic told my parents that there was a 90% chance of success. So basically, it's his sperm and some other dude's sperm, and they all. It's his sperm a bunch of times.
They're saying that they reversed the vasectomy and then took his sperm, artificially inseminated, but it was his sperm.
Okay.
And it took 3 tries to conceive, but here I am, alive and kicking. Oh, Alan Foster says could have been switched at birth.
No, because the mom, we know that the mom is
Oh, that's
Opie's
true.
real mom. Yeah, but
Unless-
good guess.
I told this info back to my helpful cousin. He comes back with 2 possibilities. Either my father was an unknown adoption and is actually 100% Jewish, extremely unlikely, or there was some sort of
saying.
mix-up at the fertility
That's
center.
what I'm saying. Maybe they were like, well, it's got to be 90% success rate, and we're going to ensure that.
So it's not switched at birth, it's switched before birth. So my mom and I are now panic-stricken. I should mention that my father has no idea that any of these conversations and revelations are happening. As I mentioned before, he is elderly. Man barely knows what's going on.
He's so old.
He's so freaking old.
I think it's funny that Opie's like, he is so old that there is a possibility that he just
doesn't know
forgot that
who
he was Jewish.
is. I'm also the clear favorite of his children, and he has me on a
Brag.
bit of pedestal in his mind. His mental health could not handle a blow like this. Damn, I'm really concerned about this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he does know I've been researching the family, however, so it was not suspicious when I took the next step and ordered DNA kits from MyHeritage for him and my mother.
Okay, pause. Can we do a poll?
Poll.
Do you tell this
Elderly,
elderly old man?
brain dead man.
How? I guess the question is how long do you have to keep it a secret?
And
How many years does he have?
how soon do you want your will?
What if he strikes you from the will?
Oh, well, hopefully you guys have more love than.
Hopefully, but he's
Hopefully.
not remembering a lot
But
anymore.
he could get a bag though, because if they screwed up the number, said 90%,
That's true.
they could
Sue
sue.
the
But I
fertility
mean,
clinic.
is this fertility clinic even still around? Like it was like what? How
Well, these
old is
are
OP?
answers that only the story can tell us.
It would be a while before I'd be able to test my parents. But in the meantime, I ordered myself a new DNA test kit, this time from Ancestry, to compare the results.
Gotta compare.
And while I'm waiting for those results, I did a deep dive into research. My cousin's family tree was easily accessible through another shared cousin, and I started copying it over to my own records, trying to figure out where I fit into it. When I did get my Ancestry DNA results back, they confirmed that I was half Italian, half Jewish, with many of the same relatives connected on both sites. In June 2021, I uploaded my MyHeritage DNA to Family Tree DNA to see if I could squeeze any more information from it. What I found was extremely helpful, but devastating.
Oh no.
It connected me with a potential paternal grandfather whose information was conveniently managed by the same cousin I had been emailing with. I immediately sent another message asking my cousin who this man was. I couldn't sit still while waiting for a reply, so I took to social media to dig for more info. Thanks to the family tree, I was able to search for him, his children, and even his grandchildren.
So this is OP's maybe grandpa.
What if this, cousin knows there was someone who was swapping sperm and trying to do one of those 1,000 kids kind of thing?
Oh.
You know? I knew who was getting married, who was going away to what schools, and that his wife, my apparent grandmother, had passed away fairly recently. I was able to add birthdays and wedding anniversaries that I was missing to the family tree. It was weird and a bittersweet feeling to be so successful in finding all this out. I was happy that I was getting somewhere with the answers I needed, but upset that this was happening at all. And I, of course, felt like a creep basically cyber stalking this entire family, but people really loved to overshare on social media.
I mean,
Couldn't
just
imagine.
a little bit, but for a good cause. The
Good
cause is you need to find out who you are.
Yeah, you got to trace that family tree all the way down to the base. It was an agonizing few days before my cousin emailed me back, but when he did, he came through with a lot of info we had been missing. He explained that he was just as shocked as I was and had made some phone calls. As I had figured out myself, this grandfather of mine had 3 sons around my mom's age. My cousin wouldn't confirm nor deny which one, but one of those sons had been a sperm donor around the time my parents would have been trying to conceive. Based on my own digging, I was sure I knew which son was my biological dad.
A little Mamma Mia situation here.
He had 3 sons of his own, the oldest being just 2 years younger than me. He was a doctor that had connections with the larger organization that ran the fertility center. And the most damning evidence of all, he had my face.
No, he stole your face.
You like that one?
I love that one.
I look so much like my mom that I could never tell if I looked like my dad, but I saw myself clearly in this man's features. Even without my cousin's confirmation, I was confident that this was my biological father.
This means that the fertility clinic made a little oopsie.
Made a big
Sue
oopsie.
him.
Wait.
Sue him.
And he's a doctor?
And he's a doctor.
He's a doctor too?
Oh.
Wait, for real?
This guy's a doctor.
A fertility doctor?
OP's not a fertility doctor.
No, I know, the dad.
The dad is a doctor. I don't know if it is a fertility doctor, but was it planned?
People are evil.
People are evil.
People are freaking evil, man.
I took this info back to my mother, who was understandably upset. We are still unsure if the inclusion of a donor was a genuine mistake, an intentional move by the clinic to ensure higher success rate for themselves, or if there was something in the fine print that my parents misread that would allow the inclusion of a donor. So it was kind of what I thought initially, where it was like, oh, they're mixing his sperm and some other ones.
Yeah, just to see what sticks.
You.
Throwing pasta at the wall.
She became, God, sticky, gross pasta.
Okay, you guys are.
She began
That's
shooting
you.
those ropes. She began the process of getting her records from that fertility clinic, but they have been very dodgy. Originally, she sent an email just asking if they could forward her records to her, not mentioning a specific reason as to why. She received a phone call from a receptionist saying that they have gotten her request and would bring it up at the next board of directors meeting.
Oh.
Suspicious. Very suspicious.
Board of directors. That's like all the way at the top.
Yeah.
Why can't you just give me the records?
After that, they did send her a records release form, which she filled out and returned the first week of June. In mid-July, she got another phone call saying they had no physical records for her, but would be looking at the microfilm. I let my cousin know where we were in regards to medical records. I also asked him if he knew of anything I should be concerned about health-wise from that side of the family. At this time, I did order a 23andMe DNA kit to triple confirm my ethnicity, as well as look at health reports and hopefully connect with other closer family members.
Got 3 different ancestry tests.
Yeah, I did a DNA test, and it just said I'm gonna have like everything wrong with me.
Yeah. What did it say? You were gonna have.
I was gonna be bald.
You were gonna live for a long time.
I was gonna live for a long time,
but you were gonna be bald,
age terribly.
Kind of like a curse.
It's kind of like a curse. Like, yeah.
Ooh, you're going to live forever, but horribly.
Yeah, that sucks.
I'm hopeful that I have dad's.
We look the same.
Well, I have dad's hair color.
If bio dad was a sperm donor, maybe there were other half siblings out there. 23andMe seems like the most popular place to test, so I thought it was possible there might be more connections. There were not. It was interesting to compare the results of all 3 DNA tests, though. When my cousin wrote to me again, he had a direct message from BioDad for me. It was not particularly enlightening. The few things he mentioned I had already figured out for myself. The whole short letter read as a very polished and political letter. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not looking for a relationship with this man, but that would be weird. You guys are related, but a little more kindness would have been appreciated.
I think they meant like a
I know, I'm making a joke.
Oh.
My cousin is an absolute delight, and I have genuinely enjoyed talking with him throughout all of this. I sent a brief return note to my cousin to pass on to my biological dad, especially just saying thank you for taking the time to write to me, and that I hoped this revelation wasn't causing him or his family any harm, and that was absolutely not my intent. But also what my intent is to tell you that you can join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST right here on YouTube. Also, we got a podcast. Look it up on podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Look it up with the pod.
My cousin wrote to me again soon after that. He thanked me himself for the return message to the BioDad, but let me know that BioDad did not want to read what I had sent and that he didn't even know my name and didn't want to. I understand
if
as
you're
a sperm donor
not wanting to have a relationship with your kid.
My cousin will hang on to it and pass it along when BioDad is ready, but I don't feel great about that. I, of course, understand needing time to come to terms with this new info, but he was a willing sperm donor. Surely he knew there was a possibility that he had children out there somewhere. And I think what a lot of these fertility clinics are like, oh, you're going to be anonymous, blah, 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 like all this stuff.
You can't ensure I don't think you can ever ensure anonymity.
Did he think I was trying to cash in on him somehow? I didn't have a good feeling about being this man's biological child after that. Aww. Around the same time, my father's DNA results finally came in. As the final nail in the coffin, we were not connected.
Aww.
It was honestly heartbreaking to see no close relatives show up in his results. I should have been there to top it all off. All this happened just before Father's Day.
Oof.
I had quite a few sleepless nights, and anxiety attacks that month. I still haven't told him about any of this. He hasn't asked about his DNA test results, but if he does, I'll just tell him the truth of the results without mentioning that I am not included in them.
And 75% of people say tell him.
I think talk to your mom first and see what the best way to tell him is.
I feel like our general rule here is
the truth. Yeah.
Like secrets become stinkier over time, and so
secrets are like cheese.
Secrets are like cheese, and not good cheese, like bad, stinky cheese. Do we think that OP should tell the father?
I think it depends on how there he is, like how present he is.
Yeah.
Because if you have a grandparent with, dementia or something like that, maybe doesn't make that much sense to tell them.
Yeah.
But if they're still present and they still have, they're still in their right mind and body.
I feel like I'm leaning towards saying something. And it's just like, hey, Dad, I want you to know I realized something with this DNA test.
Yeah.
I realized that we're not biologically related and there was a mix up, but I still love you and you're still always going to be my dad.
Concur. Let's get into this next story.
I took a DNA test and found out my dad isn't my real dad. My mom wants me to keep it a secret. So I, 41 female, found out my mom, 62 female, has been lying to me while my whole life about who my dad is.
Wow.
By the way, this comes from Black Cat Energy 83 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So when I was 14, my mom admitted to me that she was with someone else right before my dad. There was a chance he might not be my dad, but I grew up looking like him, so she's sure I'm his. Oh, she said she only told me this because my sister, my aunt, kept talking about it, and there's a chance it could get back to me, so she told me before.
Yeah, she's getting ahead of it.
My mom said my aunt was jealous of my mom and wanted people to think she had 2 kids from 2 different fathers.
Well,
anyway,
seems like she might have been.
It seems like it's true. Fast forward to 2019. I took a DNA test for fun to see what my background was. Results didn't really look like what I expected, and I had 2 first cousins listed that I did not know.
Kind of wild that OP knew there was a possibility that she had a different father and just
went after it like when you were like 40.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also because like I guess she looked so much like her dad.
She's like, it doesn't matter.
I had my sister, 40 female, take the test after that. She came back as a half sister.
Whoa.
And she did not have that same first cousin.
Plot twist. Plot twist.
Eventually she calmed down and she gave me the name of the other possible father. I looked him up on Facebook and just knew it wasn't him. I never reached out. She got more angry when I told her that I don't think it's either man, she said. She told me that she was just with 2 men and there was no possible way it could be anyone else.
I'm
just
so
2?
worried. Okay, but question. I'm thinking like conspiracy theory. OP says that she looks a lot like her dad. Does her dad have a brother?
Yeah, a twin brother. Did you even know? Basically, OP's mom went ballistic, denied it, said the DNA stuff is fake. But is it actually fake?
I don't
is
believe
she
you, Mama.
a little nervous? Now, here we are in 2024, and I was finally able to get in contact with one of the first cousins from the DNA results. She had an uncle, 62 male, who lived on the same street as my mom growing up. He remembers dating my mom for a week and agreed to take a DNA test. Both first cousins are daughters of this man's sisters.
Get up to in that week?
A lot, I guess. As you can guess, my mom was angry about that too and told me I was wasting my money on the test because she never slept with him.
Are we sure?
Results are in, and this man is my father. He had no idea I existed until now. He never had any children, and he's sad that he missed out on my life. He's hurt that his mother never got the chance to meet his daughter before she passed. I'm filled with so much anger towards my mom. Not only did she lie to me, but I had to face so much resistance and gaslighting while on the journey to find out who I really am. Dixie Blue Steel says, Mom is sleeping with everyone.
I'm a little worried, though, because she's so adamant that she didn't.
I think she's just lying.
I hope so.
What also hurts is the guy I grew up believing was my father wasn't a good dad. He caused me a lot of pain, and I walked down the aisle solo on my wedding day. Aww. Some of his family also wasn't the best to me, and I guess I'm starting to figure out why. My biological father and I have been somewhat in contact, and he seems like a very nice man. His whole family has all made me feel welcome.
Yay.
The second they found out. My mom still to this day is denying that this man is my father, even with all the proof I have. She denies she was ever with him. I don't know how to carry on with all the anger I now have towards my mom. I love her, but how do I get over this? I finally feel some peace knowing the truth, but she's trying to take that away from me. How do I get her to stop denying it? And there is an update. Duchess Kasana says, Mama is the town bicycle. Kay said, I'd be sad for Mom if she was SA'd or something. And that's why it's so hush.
Okay, either she's just a liar Or she truly doesn't, really believes what she's saying, which I hope that's not the case.
I feel like she would say that then.
Yeah.
Instead of just denying it. Question for you guys and Sophia, how do I get her to finally stop denying it? I'm wondering, she's already been confronted with so much evidence.
Yeah.
Does OP
I mean, if you haven't already, give the DNA test. Here is the literal proof that this man is my father. If your mom doesn't want to believe, there's not really much you can do.
Yeah. I mean, you can only show her the truth so much.
Yeah.
But there is an update. I-41 female found out for certain in recent years that my dad is not my biological dad. My not biological father has finally come out and admitted he knew my mom was pregnant when they first started dating, but convinced himself and his family that he was the father. When you first started dating, you knew that she was pregnant? What, did you think you rubbed out a fast one and it flew into her or something?
It's like, gotta be me.
Gotta be me.
Gotta have been me.
Not only are my swimmers, they can fly too.
And they can overtake.
They
took over the egg.
Someone was already in there. I got in there. Boom.
Boom.
Straight hit.
Direct hit. Some of his sisters were skeptical, and I wasn't always treated the best and never really felt like I fit into that family. My biological father didn't seem to know I existed. My mom ghosted him and started dating my dad. He will always be my dad. She did not know she was pregnant when she ghosted him. She realized she was pregnant right before she started dating my dad, and they just went along with it and never told the biological father.
Ooh.
Ah.
She said she ghosted him because he was weird.
What?
Which to her means nerdy.
No.
He just wanted to stop talking about Star Wars and Star Trek.
Aww. She preferred the bad boys, which is what my dad was. They divorced when I was 7 because he was abusive to my mom.
Oh, he's really bad.
He's a really bad boy.
Bad boy.
My mom kept custody, and my dad would take us when he wanted, but it wasn't often. He even left me and my sister in the car downtown at night to go to a bar. We were 10.
Oh.
This man is my dad, but he is not a saint. When I tracked down my biological father and we got our results, he was heartbroken that he never knew, and more so that his mother didn't get to meet what would be his only child before she passed away.
Oh.
And there is more to this story, but you can join us every weekday here on YouTube, 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. I'm not seeking a father/daughter relationship from him, but I do want to know more about the family my DNA came from. Now that I have DNA proof and found my biological family, my dad wants me to bury it and keep it a secret because it hurts him. I don't want to keep it a secret, and that might make me an a-hole. Do you think it makes him an a-hole? Or
No.
OP an a-hole?
No, I don't think keeping it a secret or not wanting to keep it a secret.
I don't think she would be an a-hole for.
I think it's been kept a secret from her for so long, which is really frustrating.
I think OP is now allowed to do whatever she wants with that information. I get that it hurts him to have people find out, but how am I supposed to feel? I was lied to my whole life and missed out on what seems like a great family. My biological father's family has been very welcoming and supportive. So, would I be the a-hole if I don't keep the secret? I feel like this is my story and part of who I am. I'm not even the ethnicity I was told I was. I would like to learn about it and be proud of my real ancestry. So, to everyone in chat and to Sophia, is OP the a-hole for not keeping the secret?
I don't think so. I think that you can, especially exposing it to her bio father's family.
Yeah, I don't think you need to flaunt it in your you're the dad that raised you's face, like, haha, you're not related to me. And you don't necessarily even need to tell everyone, but to seek a relationship with your biological father, I think is more than fine, and you are very entitled to.
Agreed.
But that's where that story ends.
My husband got a paternity test on our daughter and it came back negative, but I never cheated. Now he thinks our relationship is a lie and wants a divorce. What should I do? Well, this is OKOP Show. We read the craziest true stories on earth. I'm John and Sam. What should OP do?
The thing is, it came back negative, which those tests are 99% effective. So if it came back negative, I'm sorry, you probably cheated in your sleep, or I don't know.
Sleepwalking.
Sleepwalking.
We've seen it happen before.
Yeah,
We've seen the
sleep
0.01%. We've seen the 0.01%.
We have. I think we did read a story about sleep boning.
I don't remember sleep boning. I remember the lab made a mistake, actually, to Janelle's comment right there.
But we also read a story about sleep boning.
Wow.
So it could either be the lab making a mistake or sleep boning. Let us know what you think it is in the comments, but let's get to the story.
Let's find out. This comes from Fully Faithful Wife. Great username.
Oh,
Who
wow.
says,
She's really adamant.
some background. This is June 16th, 2022. OP is 29 female. The husband is 31 male, and the daughter is 5 female. I do not know how it happened, and I haven't been able to stop crying all day. I never cheated. I love my husband. We've been together since college, and he's the love of my life. He's handsome and kind, and while I slept with 2 other people, both before we got together. So she's had 2 other people, but literally before their relationship, which is like,
as
of course.
does happen with people.
Yes,
they have relationships before the relationship they're in.
What?
Yeah.
There is no other potential father for our daughter. We were married already and we're actively trying for a baby. I never cheated. I never would cheat. And I don't know why he took that stupid test because I would never, ever cheat. But it came back negative. And now he thinks he's not her dad.
That's so rough.
So basically negative of him being the father.
Yeah.
That's what Opie's saying there?
I mean, that's what it
came back negative.
Yeah, negative. Yeah. If the paternity comes back positive, that means you are the father.
That's right.
And then you have a little celebration dance. But no, this is no celebration. Yeah.
I don't know how to convince him it was a faulty test, and I'm so scared. These past few months, it's like he's become suddenly a completely different person from the man that I married. He's cold and suspicious. He kept demanding to see my phone and wouldn't tell me why. And I showed him at first, but eventually told him I wouldn't anymore unless he explained why. He's been distant with our daughter, too. We've seen this before. It's so sad.
Yeah.
He stays in his office for hours on end, and I don't know what he's doing. I did not cheat. He accused me this morning, saying that he'd done the test after realizing that our daughter's eyes, brown, wouldn't naturally come from both of ours, blue, and that he wanted me to get out of the house. I mean, we say study biology. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head.
There's some kind of like...
There's some combination.
There's like the recessive gene, like the A little a, B little b.
Guys, if you know, can you put down in the comments how that's possible?
Is it possible for two... Well, if 2 brown-eyed people have a recessive blue-eyed gene, then you can have a blue-eye baby. I believe. I haven't taken a biology course in ages.
It's the other way around. They're both blue-eyed and the baby has brown eyes.
Then they could have a recessive brown-eyed gene.
That's
maybe.
True.
But put your answers in the comments.
Let us know.
But I think blue eyes are a recessive gene. So
yeah,
I don't know.
We're not
scientists over here.
I didn't leave, and he locked me out of the bedroom, and now I'm in my daughter's room. Oh my God, this is terrifying. What should I do? Edit. The specific advice I want is how I can prove I'm innocent and how to make sure that this relationship will work. I want to keep my family together at all costs. Also, I just had a conversation with my husband. He's out of his room now, and we discussed some things. I told him that I would never cheat and started talking about a list I've made of tests that I want to be done. But he told me that he didn't want to hear it right now. We're going to have a longer conversation tomorrow, and he said that he still loves our daughter, and he won't try to keep me out of the house or our room for now. I asked him to hug me, and he did. I'm scared that I won't be able to convince him. I just want our family to go back to normal. How can I be a good wife and support his needs while proving my innocence, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, we have an update.
I'm so glad, and I hope it's juicy. It's a juicy one, right?
I mean, they're always juicy.
There's always, we got to squeeze that juice. But yeah, I mean, this is most likely, it is a situation where the lab, which we have seen happen, did a faulty report. Like there was some mistake at the lab. And so it's like, if you get a negative, do it again to double check. Like, don't throw your whole relationship away because one negative test. Like, you want to make sure. Definitely cause for suspicion, but do it again.
Which is what OP was saying. Like, hey, here's a list of all of these different things that we can do. But he's like, I don't want to do that right now. Like, you can still stay in the house and we're okay for now. I still want our daughter in my life. But like, it sounds like the husband is just kind of like, I won't like kick you out or anything.
But honestly, understandable if like you're dealing with all of this craziness of like he's literally I mean, he's convinced that it's not like his kid because of this test.
Yeah.
You know, so that is a really hard thing to realize, even if it's wrong. But he should still he should have enough trust in his partner and his wife to allow an explanation to occur. And also, did he get that test just like without her knowledge? Seemed like it. That's kind of a little whack, right?
Yeah, because I guess
he totally did, because he's just like, oh, like she doesn't have the right eyes.
And you would have to, I guess all he needed to do is like take a hair or something, a DNA sample from his daughter.
Yeah.
And then himself.
Kind of whack.
And then maybe the mom.
A little whack,
too?
dude. A little whack.
Yeah. No, I mean.
All right. I have a
go.
Conspiracy theory.
Here we go. The hats are on.
He's cheating and looking for an out. And so he fabricated the test. I mean,
wow.
That's my conspiracy. Put your conspiracies in the chat if you think you have one. But
yeah,
I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But people are saying it's not their baby. So April Hendricks says, I think the baby was switched at birth. TM Caffery from Twitch says, I've read the story. The twist is shocking. And some people over on TikTok, Nail Me Down, says, I disagree, guys. He has every right to get tests of his children. Same with the mother. I agree, but maybe like you should always talk to your partner about any big move.
It is, but to further their point, we've always said that, especially the guy coming forward with the paternity test, you have to be like, that's such a loaded.
It's a loaded. Yeah, it's like, I think you cheated.
Yeah,
but
and worse.
What actually happened? Let's find out.
Let's get into it. Back to reality. So, hi everyone. First off, I wanted to thank everyone who reached out. My original post got so much attention, it was hard to get to everything, but I ended up making a list of plans and tests that I wanted to get done. My husband was understandably distrustful of me for a while, but he apologized for the way that he acted, which I didn't need, and said that he wouldn't try to kick me out of our home. That was whack, by the way.
Yeah, kicking her out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where he was like screaming at her, something along those lines. That was whack.
Yeah, kind of whack.
He did say, though, that if every test came back and I had cheated, then he would be going scorched earth.
What does that even mean?
I think that means just like, I'm going ballistic. I'm definitely kicking you out at that point. Like, I'll evict you, whatever. Like, I guess whatever possibly can do to get her out of his life.
Dang.
Legally. We did a few tests. What do we think?
I think it still comes back. I'm thinking it still comes back negative, honestly.
Still comes back negative?
Yeah.
So basically like saying the daughter's not his.
Yeah.
Put your answers in the comments below. What you think it's going to be. What are the results? Blood paternity test for him and me and our daughter. And we had a appointment with I'm going to try this, y'all. Chimerism specialist. You can correct me in the comments. That's coming up. But that all got canceled because, well, some of you guessed it. My daughter is not biologically mine either.
So it's a switched at birth. It's a switched at birth thing.
It's a switched at birth.
It's a switched at birth.
Whoever said that, thank you. Thank you.
Maryam, thank you.
You completely correctly predicted that. I don't know how this happened, but a police officer came to our house and took our statements, and we are suing the hospital where I gave birth.
A police officer?
I mean, this is a missing child, basically. Their child is missing.
How old is the kid?
5.
Oh,
missing for 5 years. Their child's missing for 5 years.
Crazy.
And the child they have is probably missing from their parents for the past 5 years.
But at that point, it's just their kid.
It is.
Like, do you swap? All right, here, a question. Question for all of you. All right, you have a baby daughter, baby son for 5 years. Find out it's not biologically yours, but you've bonded to it. Like, you think this is your child. Do you switch? Do you even go to switch, or do you just accept like, hey, this is my kid?
I would definitely, at a bare minimum, kind of have like an aunt-uncle relationship with the other one, whether it's me giving my like child that I've raised back. 5 years?
5 years is a long time, dude.
Maybe like
some of my earliest memories, like with my dad, have happened already with my parents.
That is tough.
5 years. What would you guys do? Would you guys switch? Mom 5 says we all family now. The Raven says shared custody, both families. Amy 12 says that would be my kid. I'd want to meet my actual kid too. I think, I'd want to meet my actual kid too.
For sure. I kind of like it's in a sense, kind of co-parenting. Nintendo Switch. Ricky Reeves says they'll pull the Nintendo Switch. Yup. Yeah.
But what if the other family sucks?
Then low key, maybe then you try to get both if that's the case.
But it probably it would be hard legally. I don't know. I don't know. Well, let's see what actually happens.
Let's see. I don't know what has happened to my baby, and that is terrifying. I have my husband back, but the whole world has just been upended. And I wish that he had never taken that stupid test. That's another question we can maybe look at later. Would you rather not know? Would you rather never know and go through the heartache of knowing that your child is out there but not with you?
Probably not. Yeah, I would probably rather not.
Would you rather know? Yes or no? I've been sleeping in my daughter's room, and I'm so afraid that she's going to be taken away from me. But at the same time, I want to know where my biological daughter is and if she's okay. I pray to God that she's okay. My daughter still doesn't know the details, and we've been trying to keep this quiet. The last thing that we need is a big scandal. I don't want people who know us to look at her differently. She deserves better than that. She's such a good kid, and she's not some spectacle to be gawked at. If we can find her birth family, I have no idea what we will do. I guess the best case scenario would be to get a bigger house and all live together. Which is what all of you have been saying, yeah. But I don't know if we can afford that or if they would go for that.
Because it's a random family you've never met. It's hard enough to find a roommate that you like. Imagine trying to find a whole family that you like, and the only thing that you have in common is this hospital just screwed you both over.
That's true, but it is a pretty big thing. Like grazing the children, that is a
of course it's like something that you want to work out, but like the odds of this family being like great are so low, or not even great. Like the odds of just you guys having similar living styles is so low.
Or them being able to move, like
yeah.
The odds of them being able to do this dream scenario are zero, very low. I'll say very low. I'll keep some hope in this story,
1%.
ladies and gentlemen. 1%, 1% Sam gives them. But I don't know if we can afford that, or if they'd go for that, or if we'd even be able to locate them, or if I'm just crazy. This whole situation is crazy. I don't know anyone else who's been in a situation like this. I mean, are there support groups for parents of kids who got mixed up? Hopefully. I Googled and nothing came up. Well, dang. Literally all I'm getting are tabloid articles from trashy magazines that slap the faces of the innocent kids on them in the same pages as celebrity sex scandals and fiction. How do we tell our daughter? I mean, we can't tell her now. She'll tell all the kids at school and then it'll be everywhere, but we have to say something. I don't know what I ever did to deserve this.
Small Pangu says, watch the show Switched at Birth and see if that gives any insight.
Man, I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, but I'm surprised that there aren't any support groups. I mean, I guess.
But how often does that happen?
How often does it happen? But like, I feel like if you go through it once, you would be down to like join a support group and help people.
I mean, but like if there's only like 7 people in the nation that probably switch babies happen a lot.
Maybe
but
dozens.
The people who find out about it, probably very little.
Yeah.
I imagine there's like probably 10 switch babies a day.
Yeah. I mean, I would say there's at any given time dozens of people who know who the people are and not. So I don't know how many of you have been down a self-doubt rabbit hole before, but it's not the most logical place to be. It's even less logical when you know the whole dang internet is telling you that your wife is cheating and that she's planning on taking your house and taking you for all you're worth and never really loved you, all that sort of stuff, that she was too good for you anyways. So you end up seeing everything as a sign of infidelity.
Oh my goodness, dude.
That's like the red pill rabbit hole, or like the...
it's super red pill. Yeah. It's super red pill.
And we're still not done. And then you get not 1, but 2 failed paternity tests on your daughter. When COVID happened, I got fat and depressed. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Riley, that we are now at the husband's side of the story.
This sounds like the husband's side.
We are now reading from the husband's.
So we're doing a little switcheroo. So we had a switched at birth kind of deal, but now we're doing a switch. Okay.
Exactly. So when COVID happened, the husband goes on to say, I got fat. I got depressed. I stopped feeling like a person. My wife stayed beautiful. She stayed herself. I was sure that she'd made a mistake, that she'd regret being with me. I started getting into some more online groups, especially Reddit, that were full of guys who had been cheated on, lost custody, lost everything. And when someone said that his tip-off was that he and his wife both had blue eyes and their son had brown, I felt effing stupid.
I remember that one.
This is the one. Yeah, yikes. This is a clear case of someone going down the rabbit hole and letting the rabbit hole
to consume them
and make the decisions
eat them up.
for them. I don't want to jump to any conclusions at this point in the story, but when I made a post about my fears, everyone was saying that she was cheating. I mean, when you go in the my wife has cheated on me subreddit, you might get that response.
Yeah, that sucks.
People said not to say anything because she'd use it to hide her cheating and get ahead of me on the divorce. I got the test and I didn't really think that it would come back negative. Then it did, which I can see from his perspective. Like, it's
I
true.
was right.
I was right.
Right.
I didn't want to believe it, but yeah, I pulled back. I felt betrayed. I wanted to be a good husband, but I couldn't shake this. I tried to find evidence of an affair and failed. I got another test. When that one was also negative, I snapped. Again, like at that point,
yeah. I mean, he's confirmed. He's confirmed.
It wasn't his daughter. In fairness,
yeah,
it actually wasn't.
He was right.
Yeah, in that sense. If you've ever been cheated on, you know what it feels like. When my wife denied it, I got angrier. I just wanted her to leave. I didn't want to go through what everyone seemed to think was going to happen. I didn't want to lose custody of my kid. I didn't want to lose my house. I was scared and angry, and I wanted the truth. I felt like if she couldn't even be honest, there was no point trying to get past this. I took a few hours to calm down. When she came back with a list of tests to take, I tried to keep my cool. I tried to keep my cool for so long. I knew I was wrong about the affair, as in the wife going and cheating and having an affair, but so was everyone else in my ear. My kid is genuinely biologically not mine. I didn't immediately consider that switched at birth was an option. In fairness,
neither did we.
I don't think anyone does. I have been through a messed up time, and I don't think getting angry one time because I thought my wife cheated and lying about it makes me a monster. And then we close off with this is Fully Faithful Wife. Oh, this is OP chiming in again. Hi, everyone. It's Fully Faithful Wife, aka OP here again. I just want to say that number one, I agree that he's not a monster or an abuser or anything of that sort. And number two, I do not agree that he's fat. I love this man very much and have for ages, and we are not going to let this situation break our marriage. Thank you to everyone for all your help. That's the end of this story.
But we don't know what they ended up doing with the kid.
We don't know what they ended up doing.
At least we got both sides.
At least we got both sides, and we at least got the update confirming, like, you know, okay, it's not the kid. It was a switched at birth type situation. So Opie's husband asked a question at the end of his side of the story. Is he a monster but is he the a-hole?
I mean, it's understandable. That, that he wanted to know. I mean, doing the whole like Reddit rabbit hole of like the red pill videos of, oh, my wife's cheating on me. That's probably not a good move, but it did expose a truth. So it's like, I mean, I understand maybe him just like kind of losing it for a little bit because what he feared was true.
That knee-jerk anger reaction where it's like, and again, it sucks that he went down this stupid red pill rabbit hole. But anyone who's like, oh, I now have DNA evidence that, again, quote unquote, that my wife has cheated on me twice. That could make you angry.
No, dude, I completely understand being angry about that. But maybe we could let's look at some of the comments. So
let's see.
Stella Davis says, I know this man has looked for other outs since this whole thing. So you think he was like, Stella thinks, oh, maybe this guy was like looking for a reason to get out of the marriage, because if he's looking at this cheating subreddit, he's probably looking for a reason to get out.
Nothing to get out of the relationship.
Was it only one time, Lady H? Do you mean like only one time?
I think the baby, like only one time cheating, like only one child.
Oh, I think only. Yeah, it was only one child.
Yeah.
New England,
she didn't cheat.
She didn't cheat. She didn't cheat. Addie baby, he gets no sympathy. I mean, I think because like it started with him maybe looking for outs, and that's why he was on those bad those like terrible subreddits. Janelle says, can't blame him. The whole story is a travesty. Yeah, I mean, it's just rough. It's a lose-lose
scenario for sure.
Gutter Wave, it is live. Wait,
Right.
The Raven says there was an update. Is there another update?
Well, that's a great question. The Raven.
I'll look.
Producer Riley is on the case. So we'll see if there's another update. If there is one, we will definitely read it. Stella Davis, yes, the DNA test is proof, but his insecurities led to the DNA test in the first place.
Yeah, that's kind of what
Which
we
is
were
true.
saying a little bit earlier, where it's like, why are you on those cheating subreddits to begin with? To look for evidence to maybe like against your partner because you're insecure or you want out of the relationship. So
both of those things on both sides, it makes me angry, especially when going to the "my wife cheated on me" subreddit. Like, of course they're gonna say that. Like,
yeah, you are asking advice from a pool of people that have had like failed relationships and are probably very bitter.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to get advice that is necessarily like, oh, repair the relationship or something. You're going to get advice that is like, take everything you can.
And on this, like, it's same token, two sides of the same coin. If you go to like men are trash or whatever, it's like people who have only had negative experiences with men. Yes, of course. Like, that's all the experiences that these people have had. So
so it's not very good. Janelle says the hospital is going to owe you millions. Yeah, I wonder if you could, like, how easy would it be to sue the hospital for millions? And then if you can sue the hospital for millions, then you could get that big house with all
live together. I mean, pretty good idea.
The Raven says they went on a hunt for their biological daughter. Raven, can you send a link to?
I think I found it.
Oh. Can you put it in John's thing?
Producer Riley might have something, y'all.
We are about to get into another update that hopefully concludes this saga.
Hi, everyone. On to update number 2. All 3,000 people who followed me, all of the YouTubers who made videos, the people on every social media platform from TikTok to Tumblr who have been giving advice. My goodness, there's a lot going on here, which helps confirm my decision to not go public with any of this. If this is how much attention it got without our names, my goodness, I'm very grateful for everyone and hold no ill will towards the shared posts, but I'm very glad the attention is not directed at my daughters, either of them. I think you all deserve an update, so here it goes. We found our biological daughter.
Holy moly, how? 23andMe, Ancestry.com.
She was in foster care. I don't think it's going to surprise a ton of people that the hospital we had her at was not the best in the area.
No.
And she was taken home by a family who ended up under investigation. And apparently, when she was proven not their biological child, she was taken by the state.
No.
I feel horrible for that family, but at the same time, so grateful that we have found her safe and alive. We started the adoption process immediately, and well, we have some pretty significant resources now. I won't say the settlement money makes up for what we went through exactly, but guesses in the chat.
How much money do you think they got?
Big Protein and Sam, quick guesses.
Millions. I think
millions.
I think like 2 to 5.
2 to 5.
I'm gonna say like 7,050. 750.
750. It was close to $2 million.
Oh my gosh.
My man is accurate over here.
Whoa.
Yeah, we had 1.5, 10 mil, couple hundred million, 1.7.
A couple hundred million. That would be
1.7 million. Kirby Ray, super close.
Yeah.
Very nice. Our lawyer said that we could have gotten more in court, but honestly, the hospital wanted to end this fast and quietly, so we did. So that's them doing the hospital a favor.
Yeah.
No.
A big favor.
Yeah, well, they're also like making sure it doesn't go into the public eye. And
right. Because then it would
probably if you go to court, then it's a public.
100%. We explained to our daughter that her sister is going to be coming to stay with us and that we still love her very much. She seems ecstatic about the idea. Here's to hoping that it actually works out. That is so adorable that the daughter that they've been raising is so excited for that.
Yeah. Get what, brother, sister?
Sister. Two sisters, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Our daughter is excited about her sister coming to stay with us. We're planning to move away.
They must look somewhat similar if they were so easily swapped.
It was the brown eyes. That was so all of the other features, hair, face, nose, like that could have all been like But I can't tell kids.
I guess all babies kind of look similar.
All babies and like little kids.
For any of the mothers out there, do you think you could tell your newborn child from another newborn? Obviously not, because they got switched.
These moms know.
Yeah, would you guys know? Moms, Janelle says nope.
I couldn't tell.
I don't think I could tell, dude. All babies look. Actually, no. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
They do be looking.
They do be looking similar. They're all bald.
Newborn babies, ugly.
That's why you gotta, dude. You gotta mark your babies. You gotta get a Sharpie and do a signature that sign your babies before you give them away. Sign them.
Or like even I don't know, like a anklet or you think they would
QR code.
You think they would figure this out by now?
I know,
but
obviously not.
Here we go. We are planning to move away from our hometown in a few months. We found a wonderful place in a good school district that's a few states away and has plenty of room for our family to grow. I don't know what we're going to do about the other family. My biological daughter doesn't seem to remember them that much, and I don't really want to involve them if I don't have to. But I know it's probably morally wrong not to let them know what happened. I mean, do you tell the other family? Do you tell the other family? It's
give them the option.
To give them the option. Just purely to let them know.
Let's ask, like, it's definitely bad, like probably morally bad for the original family to not know. But what do you think is best for the kid?
I mean, I think they should tell the other family at the barest of minimums. Like,
what if they're like, we want the kid back?
Then you kind of have to take it from there. I feel like it's one of those things where you're like, I have to tell you, and like maybe you do want the kid back, and I'm just gonna have.
But what if the family sucks? Like it says the biological kid, or no, the non-biological kid. So OP's biological kid was taken away and put into foster care because of something bad that family potentially did. So what if they're like drug addicts or something crazy?
It's from my knowledge of reading it, it wasn't 100% clear if it was the family. I could see that, but it was like after they realized it wasn't theirs, they took it away. But so it totally could have been.
But they would only have to do biological tests if something bad happened. And so the right? So like the second
it's
family,
probably
the second family. So Robin Christ says the second family was under investigation. Would you want to return a child to such people? Not me. Leave the other family in the dark.
Yes.
Right. So you're
sense.
basically giving a family that was under investigation, who knows what, but potentially like something bad that they had to take their child away. Like, would you want to potentially give up a child that you have had and bonded with for the last 5 years?
I'm not even saying give up the child. I'm saying let them know. And then if like we want the child back,
but the thing is, if you let them know, that they can probably have some legal recourse to take that kid.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. It's a tough situation.
I don't know. What did you guys get? So let's read some of the comments. Robin Christ says, I wouldn't even tell them. Sarah Badoff says, no, they have proven not to be good parents. Wait until she's 18 and they can't do anything in regards to custody or mess with their lives.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Mary-Am, if they suck, there should be some law procedures. So that actually is that's pretty true.
I wonder if, could you go through a lawyer basically being like, hey, I am like legally on the record informing you, but we have custody, because they do.
Yeah.
I mean, but maybe they could sue them.
I wonder what the legal ramifications are. But like also, I mean, yes, there might be some laws, but as most of us know, the criminal justice system or the justice system ain't so just all the time.
It ain't the best.
It ain't the best. It's not perfect. Nope. So I don't know.
Very tough call to make.
Jem says the other family didn't seem to go look for their child. That's true. But maybe they did and they just couldn't find them.
True.
I don't know.
That's tough. Riley, what comments are you seeing on the TikTok side?
Oh, some people are like, I wouldn't tell them. They would come for money.
Nico says the other family should know. Britt says that would be such a hard decision, to be honest. May said, I remember them making sure the numbers matched. Numbers on the baby? Baby numbers?
Maybe. Yeah,
baby numbers.
I'm guessing numbers of like confirming that it's correct or whatever.
Sarah Badoff, happy birthday if it's your birthday today.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
There we go. Speaking of celebrations, let's celebrate the rest of the story.
Let's get it, baby.
So again, we're picking back up on the decision of telling the family or not. OP says, I mean, that poor mother must not have any idea what's happened. I can only imagine how horrible that would be.
Yeah.
For now, though, I'm focusing on my daughters and hoping to plan them a beautiful life. Finally, my husband. I love him more than anything in the world, and he loves me. We've been through hell and come out the other side, and we are not, N-O-T, interested in breaking up or ending the relationship or anything like that.
Heck yeah.
There we go.
All right. All right. So the relationship's still strong.
He deleted his Reddit account. Thank God.
Yeah. The Reddit account does not seem too good.
And he promised that he's going to trust me from now on because as it happens, our child being switched at birth is more likely than me cheating on him. Now, that is a way to put it.
That's pretty fire.
I love him so much, and we are going to be okay. This will hopefully be the last time that I use this account. Thank you to everyone who reached out with help and advice. Edit, I've explained as much as I can in the comments. No longer going to be feeding the trolls here. And that is a wrap on that story. Wow.
But we didn't get clarity on what they did with the other family, right?
For now, they're not reaching out.
Yeah.
So OP has made the decision at
for
least,
now.
But it sounds like that door is not closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I guess it kind of never is.
Yeah. I mean, I like what one commenter said about maybe waiting until the baby's 18 and saying it. Like I feel like that at the very least is what you should do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think it, like, again, like this family didn't seem very good. So like, what is best for the child?
Yes. 100%.
Probably staying with this
family. They now have $2 million. And based from me reading in between the lines, I think their entire life setup now is like, we are 1,000% optimizing for, we're getting a giant house in an amazing school district. All of it is going to be for these girls, and we'll figure out our jobs if we get one or whatever.
Yeah.
Like OP literally didn't even talk about that. Maybe they're just retiring. But
yeah, I mean, you could depending on where you're living. Like,
you could
definitely retire.
Maybe they like if they moved to like Utah and just got like a big house in a great school district.
Yeah, or North Dakota,
Texas.
Is anyone from North Dakota in any of the chats?
Yeah,
I would love to know.
Drop in the comments.
Yeah, drop to North Dakota people. Let us know.
Woo!
What is it like living there?
Big ND.
I don't know if I know anyone because there's only like 50,000 people that live in North Dakota.
I mean, it's basically
no, it's not that little.
No, it's that little.
Is it that little?
No, we're not even going to Google
500,000. 500,000.
I got you.
It's probably 500,000.
Yeah, it's 774,000 people in North Dakota, which has more people. So Gutter says from South Dakota. Is that better than North Dakota?
Because our fan Gutter wife is from South Dakota. South Dakota's automatically better.
South Dakota's better.
Boom.
Unless any North Dakota people come in
state your case now.
State your case.
Or forever hold your peace. But you know what I want to hold?
What do you want to hold, John?
This next story you're about to read for my ear holes.
I did a DNA test and found out my pastor was my dad. Should I convert to another religion? This is OKOP, home of the craziest stories on earth. I'm Sam and John. Should OP convert to another religion?
I mean, well, actually, maybe you want to stay because you're like, Dad?
Our Father?
Thou art in my church and I know who you are now?
Well, John, we got to figure out, but there's only one way to find out.
Spill that energy drink!
Because we are sleep deprived. And we're staying up for you guys.
Crack it.
I feel it coursing through my veins. My husband and I took the Ancestry DNA test a year ago to find out our ethnicities for fun. First mistake. Our results were pretty anticlimactic. Mine came out 96% Korean and 4% Japanese. I thought it was a little weird that I had Japanese in me. I was expecting Chinese as my last name is Chinese from my dad's side. I didn't think much of it and moved on. A couple of weeks ago, a second cousin reached out to me through Ancestry. I didn't know who she was, but after talking some more, she revealed that her father was the brother of my mom's pastor.
Oh my.
I was shocked. My childhood memories started to flood in. In middle school, I caught my mom and the pastor embracing each other at church.
Oh.
I snuck away before they saw me. The pastor has been married for 40 years and has 2 children in their late 30s.
Dang, bro's getting it after 40 years.
My mom and dad have been married for 30 years with 3 kids. But maybe they left space for Jesus.
There we go. And the pastor.
I am the middle child. I never brought it up because I don't want to stir drama, especially church drama. Despite knowing my mom's affair, I didn't expect to be a product of it. How can my mom continue to go to that church every single day after committing such a horrible sin? Bless me, Father, because I'm about to sin again.
Pastor, I've done wrong. Let me get on my knees and pray for your forgiveness.
How can the pastor continue being a pastor after committing infidelity for years? It's called humans being bad.
Yeah.
My husband has always joked that I looked exactly like my mom's pastor and he might be my real father. I know my siblings are my dad's real kids. They look just like him. I look back at my childhood photos and I look exactly like the pastor.
Oh.
It's also rough that the other siblings look like the dad and this guy looks like the pastor.
Oh, and my sleep deprived brain just connected the no percent Chinese. I get it now.
I mean, like if you had one parent that was half Chinese,
there's got to be something in there. The math ain't mathin'. The math is not
you're right.
mathin'.
I was expecting Chinese as my last name is Chinese from my dad's side. Oh, dude. Dude, he's going Super Saiyan. I confronted my mom and she denied it at first, saying that the DNA test is nonsense and to stop wasting my time with it. She later told me not to spread rumors of this nonsense as it will ruin her reputation at her job and church. I was hurt that she lied to me during our first discussion, and now she's only thinking about herself? I confessed to her that I knew about her and the pastor's affair long before I took the test. As her child, I deserve to know the truth.
That's true.
Okay, I'm going to take a little pause right here.
Yep.
There is a lot more to the story, but do you think OP deserves to know the truth?
You know,
Even if it might ruin the family.
red flag on the mom for sleeping with the pastor. Red flag. People might come for me in the comments, but it was not a cool, nice thing to do. That was a very meanie. It's all on if OP really wants to know, or if they're like, you know what, it's like not worth it.
You already know, so like, what more are you gonna know by knowing more?
You kind of like want them to pay for their sins.
Yeah,
you know?
dude.
Like, hey,
confess. Face the music. Eventually, she sort of admitted to it. That was all I wanted to know. She said my dad has no idea, but I don't believe anything she says anymore. We agreed that nothing will change and we will never discuss it again. She will take this to her grave and I will reveal this to my siblings once my parents pass. Damn. I will never speak to that pastor ever again.
Yeah.
I've read posts on here similar to my situation to find comfort and advice, but I still can't get rid of this uncomfortable feeling in my chest. My heart feels empty but heavy at the same time. It makes me sad that my siblings are just my half siblings, and I have 2 more half siblings that don't know about me. That is tough. So many thoughts are going in my head that I don't want to bore you about. I just wanted to let this out here because I can't tell anyone else. I don't want to cause any drama within the family in my mom's life. I love my mom and she already has been through so much. People have experienced something similar to me. Does that uncomfortable feeling ever go away? Is this something worth going back to therapy for? There is an edit and an update, but John, should OP go to therapy? 1, and 2, should OP tell the siblings now?
Therapy? Big green flag.
Big green flag.
Definitely go to therapy because it only helps and doesn't hurt anybody.
You can't solve this alone.
Yeah, bro. You need some reinforcements,
Yeah,
okay?
bro.
We need to call in the big boys for this one.
Yeah. And we are just the medium boys.
Yeah, we are small. We are schmedium boys.
We are
at
shrimp
best.
boys.
At best.
Shmedium. I would love to know what you guys think. Put your answers in the comments. Do you tell or do you not tell? But you know what? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you about this update. So I just want to thank you all for your kind words and advice, especially those who have shared their own personal story. I didn't expect this to gain the traction that it did, but I've read every single comment. It's hard to respond to every comment, but I appreciate you for taking the time to share your thoughts. I'm sorry to disappoint some of you, but I will not tell my dad. Listen to the John advice. Oh, why? Do you ask?
Why? I do ask.
I just want to live a normal life as much as possible, and I hope you can respect my decision. I know my dad, and telling him will not make anything better based on his history of depression. Yikes. Don't get me wrong. I wish I could just barge into the church and expose everything, but I know no good will come with it. I will go to therapy, green flag, and once I'm ready, I will speak with the pastor only for the purpose to find out about health history. Thank you again. And there are some relevant comments. John, do you want me to go straight into it, or do you have anything to say for yourself?
I do have something to say for myself. So OP actually is planning on going to the pastor.
It is planning, but only
because
for
of
health reasons. Yeah, it's like, yo, do I got any history of cheating in my past? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty, which is good. Like, do it. You, by God, you deserve it. This pastor literally like pretended like you aren't his kid.
Yeah,
like,
honestly, this pastor is like an old a past turd. Anyway, here's some relevant comments. La Mamayan says, peace/acceptance usually comes with resolution. She barely told you the truth and swore you to secrecy. She took no responsibility for her actions and how they affect you. You have no resolution. Are you and your mother the only ones who know? Do others know, but are also keeping the secret, thinking they are the only ones to know? What is the other half of your biological family like? What would your life be like if you reached out? What would your life have been like if the adults in charge had made better choices? Instead of resolution, you are left with a mountain of questions and the ick feeling of now being included and expected to participate in the years of lies.
Well, thanks for making me feel way more terrible. God dang.
Opie says, my goodness. I didn't think of it that way. I don't know if it's good to think of it that way.
It's not.
And it makes total sense. Thank you for your insight. It really helps unravel what I'm feeling. No one knows but my husband. My husband tries to reassure me if this affair didn't happen, I wouldn't be born and he wouldn't have met me. But that does not make me feel any better. Whoa.
That's good.
Babe, I'm glad that affair happened because this affair baby is a baby that I'd like to marry.
Oh, yeah.
I do know for sure that if I were to reveal this, it would cause chaos. I grew up with the pastor's children and they would not accept me. I have to accept that keeping this a secret is the best choice for me. And then my mom responds, I would bet you the pastor knows, especially since you say there is a strong familial resemblance. And if they are so careless that you walked in on them as a child, I wouldn't be surprised if others had done the same as you. Walk in and quickly walk out again, denying what they saw. But the most important thing is doing what you think is best for you and your life moving forward. As long as you make the choice for yourself, it should hopefully be less of a burden to manage. And OP responds, the cousin found out about her father recently. She's not close with him at all. She said she'll respect my wishes and keep this a secret. My mom was also shocked when I told her the pastor's brother had a daughter. I don't know my cousin's story. We plan to meet someday once I'm ready. So it seems like there's a whole side quest cheating story in the woozy and the wazzy and the upstairs clouds. But John, everyone watching, commenters, tippy tap your fingers, those cute little delicate fingers right away. But I want to know, do you think OP made the right choice in staying firm?
I feel this is kind of what I was like wondering in the beginning. Like, would it be worth it? Like, what would OP? Because ultimately, OP is the one who deserves something to gain. What would OP gain other than like
a new set of family members?
I mean,
not having to live with a lie.
Sure. But then I don't got to deal with all that other BS.
Being able to talk to a real dad. Being closer to God.
I don't want to be closer to that God. Hold on. Pause. Yeah. No, I honestly think it was a smart decision to not go through and like blow everything up because again, what's in it for OP? I don't know that the juice is worth the squeeze.
I just told you.
What
are you listening?
What's actually good that you gain? Okay,
I just told you.
I know I heard you. God damn it!
But let me tell you the real reason.
Here's the real question here: why is Sam the a-hole? Oh man!
But I want you to blast my a-hole with this next story, John.
Spread your cheeks because we're getting into it. Took a DNA test and it turns out my sister is my mom. Is this even possible?
Yes, but she's probably your mom and raised as your sister.
Impossible.
Oh, teen pregnancy all the way for sure, right?
Impossible.
No, it's possible.
It's not possible.
Well, let's find out, John.
Sister mother? All right. Well, there's one way to do that. Spill that tea. And this one comes from Pitch Pipe. So we start off with a literal DNA test. And the test stated that OP and her sister are actually OP and her mom. The sister is the mom.
The sister is the mom. Sister
literally
mom.
100%. 100%.
Dang, dude.
Not a shadow of a doubt. My sister and I finally had a chance to talk on the phone last night. The first thing she asked me was if I had seen my matches. It was very emotional.
Oh, geez.
She told me everything. My father was her high school boyfriend, but he broke up with her when he found out she was pregnant.
Not a stand-up dude.
That is bad.
That is bad.
Now I'm really nervous about pursuing the 1700 centimeter match. The
What does that
1700, if you're curious on what that is, what the real thing here is, the 1700 centimeter match is his older brother, AKA my newfound uncle. I'm afraid that my father's side of the family will reject me. However, it is possible that my father has matured over the years because he literally abandoned her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People grow up like from high school.
Sometimes.
I hope the guy that like, there's this guy in the water polo team that used to feed rice to seagulls to watch their stomachs explode. Like, I hope he's matured since then.
Bro, that's crazy.
He did it in high school, you know? You do dumb in high school.
It's true. It's true.
Kill a bunch of seagulls.
We didn't do that dumb stuff. My sister said our parents offered to raise me so she could have a normal life with a condition that she keeps it a secret. They even threatened not to pay for her college if she raised me. This made me look at my parents in a whole new light. As most of you said, she took the test with me as a loophole since she knows I'm into genealogy. So basically the loophole is she didn't tell her. She took the test. So now OP can go to her parents or grandparents actually, and be like, look, I found out.
Yeah. And it wasn't the mom that actually said anything.
We are still unsure what to call each other. I've known her as my sister my entire life.
Oh, it's easy. It's sister mom.
Sister mom. Simple. Also, growing up, we were not that close. She was in school for basically half of my life trying to become a successful anesthesiologist. Anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
Trying to become a successful anesthesia.
Wait, but John, the real way to say it is anesthesiologist.
Dude, you're right. That is the right way to say it. We're going to keep reading. We didn't really even have a relationship until I went to college. While I'm proud of her accomplishments, I did complain about the struggles of living in her shadow as a queer college dropout. She apologized for not always being there for me when I was younger. She said it was hard being around me knowing that I was her son, and she didn't have the means to raise me. I'm sure with time, we will build a better relationship. Her husband, my brother-in-law, was in the loop about me being her son. So wow, so her husband did know, which makes sense. I mean, you would probably tell your spouse that, right? Yeah, your deepest, darkest secrets.
Deepest, darkest secrets.
She actually told him while they were still dating. However, my niece and nephew still don't know. I guess actually my half-sister and half-brother, which also kind of stings a little bit because like they got to be her actual children, but OP didn't. Not. Kind of sucks. It is what it is. But it's just unfortunate. My sister did not feel like it would be appropriate since they are only 8 and 5 years old.
Appropriate to do what?
To tell them the truth.
The truth? Just say, yo, this is your brother. And they'll be like, yeah, I got a brother.
Yeah.
No, why is that bad?
See, mommy is my sister mommy. Okay.
You don't even, yeah.
Easy.
Bro.
Done.
Bro.
Finito.
Hire us to be your therapist right now. Dude, we give such good advice.
We're so good we could retire.
This is dressed up as like a...
Got him.
Got me.
We will definitely tell them in the future, though. For the time being, our parents do not know that I know. I'm not sure when we will tell them. I'm still uncomfortable calling them grandma and grandpa. Increasingly, my sister mother spilled that our maternal grandfather, aka my great-grandfather, was also adopted by his grandparents after his eldest sister had him at 15 years old.
So it runs in the family.
Runs in the family. He was the youngest of 8. I did not know any of this. I guess history is destined to repeat itself. I appreciate those who took the time to read my update. I know a lot of you were asking for one. Some people even DM'd me for an update, lol. However, it was nice to be able to write down all my feelings and thoughts about the situation. I am a little shaky writing this. I don't know how long it will take for my life to go back to normal.
I mean, I don't think your life doesn't go back to normal.
I don't think it does.
You now know a secret that fundamentally changes how you view the closest people in your life.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably going to take a long time to get, like you said, like, oh, I'm not used to calling them grandma and grandpa. Yeah. You're still calling your mom your sister. It doesn't go back to normal, but I think it can change and you can adapt. Totally. You know? I think with time, it'll definitely become a lot easier. The real question, though.
God damn it. What's the real question, John?
Should she?
You don't even have a real question.
No, I do.
Where's your question?
Should she eventually tell the grandparents that she knows? Because they were the ones that made the ultimatum. And
the sister mom?
No, like if she told the grandparents. If OP told the grandparents, because that was their ultimatum with sister mom. Like, hey.
Well, I mean, does sister mom have any like repercussions for doing that? Because she's not in school anymore, right? So it's would her
she doesn't, but
her inheritance would be at play. I think if you just just say, hey, I did a DNA test with my sister and I found out she's my mom. I mean, well, you can't blame her for that.
You can't, but I
guess sister mom could have said, no, I don't feel comfortable giving you my DNA.
Yeah, because what the grandparents can say is, oh, well, you gave her the DNA knowing the results that OP would find.
But I think it has to come out at some point. Like, it's either you wait for the grandparents to die or you
Hell yeah. I love that option.
Or kill them right then and there.
Yeah, let's speed it up.
Speed up the process, dude. So what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Put your answers in the comments below. I would love to hear, do you think OP should tell the grandparents, yes or no? Why or why not? But I think, like, why not just tell you another story, John?
Let's do it.
DNA test exposed my family's dark secret. How do I process this? This is OKOP, where we process your.
How do you process?
You don't.
All right, let's get to the story. There's only one way to find out. Spill that tea. So this comes from user, your mom's pancake nips. And they say, I did it a while ago and saw lots of first cousins on there who I didn't recognize. But like, I don't care about that stuff. I just wanted to see where I'm from. So I never reached out. I guess my cousin did recently and saw this same thing and started asking questions to the old folks in my family who are like, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And now everyone started going crazy, like trying to find out who the liar was. We're Italian and my family is absolutely massive. So everybody was pointing fingers and it started a lot of drama. Turns out my one uncle got tons of girls pregnant in high school at parties.
Oh my God.
And never knew about it because he was a drug guy for a while and just totally oblivious.
What?
Tons of girls?
What the hell is going on right now?
He said he had no idea who these kids' moms were and had no recollection of what parties they were even talking about. Lol. So my grandma's pissed. She's a 90-year-old Puerto Rican Italian lady, and they planned a reunion. And she keeps saying in her thick accent.
Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. What's her Puerto Rican accent? Go ahead. Since you love doing accents so much while you read the whole story, why don't you just do a stereotypical Puerto Rican accent right now? Read it. I have enough family.
Yes. I'm like frozen. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to do it in Italian voice.
There we go.
I have enough family and I'm tired of seeing it every day. I don't need more. Fangool. This is Fangool. She's a cranky woman. It also came out that my great aunt or great aunt, I don't know, was secretly sleeping with her husband's brother for 30 years. She had 4 kids, and when their father died, they were all so sad, and now we found out that their dad was really their uncle.
Uncle Dad is back.
Uncle Dad. Now I have like 50 more cousins on top of the 50,000 I already have. And everyone in my family is super pissed at each other. But my mom and I are just sitting here laughing because it's just so ridiculous, like a telenovela. And all these new cousins are so excited to meet us and they don't even realize the shit show they are getting themselves into.
Bro, there's about to be an army of these half Puerto Rican, half Italian people. Just absolutely murder each other.
Dude, I love Puerto Rico, man. Puerto Rico's
Dude,
great.
shout out to Puerto Rico
Shout
one
out to
time.
Puerto Rico.
What's the real question here? What's the real question?
The real question is, how do you ethically do a Puerto Rican accent?
Si, senor.
Instead of saying puerta, we say puerta.
Puerta.
Que tengo hambre.
Que tengo hambre.
We did it.
Bro, okay, there we go.
We're officially Puerto Rican. Congratulations, everyone. I did a DNA test and found out that my neighbor is my wife's aunt. Should I tell them?
I mean, why not? Like, then you can make your neighborhood more like a family.
What if the aunt is like hiding? What if she knows?
What if she knows and she's been following the wife the whole time?
Wouldn't
and
you know
been like,
if you live next to your aunt? Wouldn't you know that?
Would I know? I mean, I live close to my aunt Baba. She's pretty sick, dude.
But if we moved in here and then your aunt came out and you're like, oh, hey, that's my aunt, you would know, right?
Well, I know all my aunts.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So they don't know each other. So it's a plot twist.
But if I know it's my aunt, then it's not a plot twist.
No! But that's why it is a plot twist, because Opie doesn't know. Opie's wife doesn't know.
But if they don't know, then they don't know. And then.
But now they're about to find out, and there could be some.
that tea.
There's only one way to find out.
Spill that tea.
So Independent Grape 586 tells us, I stumbled across this subreddit the other day, and I thought you folks would get a kick out of this.
Let's kick it.
It's going to be a long one, but bear with me. A few years ago, my wife surprised me with an Ancestry DNA kit for Christmas.
Worst gift you could have ever gotten them.
Bro, unless we get sponsored, then it's the best Christmas gift you could get.
I had talked a lot about wanting to see where my heritage came from, as I'm a standard American mutt. Same.
No, you got Australian in you, buddy.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. You're a Australian American mutt. I got my results back in early February. I was immediately hit with a shocker. It showed a half sister. Okay.
Oh,
I immediately messaged her. I honestly thought I was going to tell this poor lost soul who her real father was. My parents had a game they like to play
called cheating.
It's what's called I'm going to cheat more than you.
Oh wow. I was right.
My boy wasn't wrong. That was the real quote. She responded a few hours later, and long story short, the man who raised me was not my dad. Dang. That is tough.
So who's your daddy?
Well, this explained why no known names from my dad's side of the family showed up in my results. The normal family drama you might expect happens. And the TLDR on this is my parents were already divorced. My dad was not raised by his biological father, and we came to terms pretty quickly. He's my dad, end of story.
That's good.
I managed to meet up with my sister and her amazing family. We spent a week getting to know each other and our respective families, and in general, it was a wonderful experience.
That's awesome when it turns out good like that.
Right?
Yeah. Your parents have to be divorced first.
Exactly. Yeah. Just bombed the marriage 20 years earlier, then it's smooth sailing for the rest. She filled me in on another half brother and half sister living in Germany, but they haven't responded to my requests to connect. My bio dad thought I was a scam artist, which, in fairness,
I mean, if I got a text saying you're my real dad, I would block that
I'm
person.
like, huh? I have not met my dad, my real dad, biological dad, nor do I really care to. But you're wondering how this is a wild ride, and I'm getting to that. My wife was low-key jealous. She was raised by her mother's foster family. She had met her dad once, and that was pretty craptacular. And he had been adopted, and the family had distanced from him over the years for good reasons. She even found a half-brother, but they did not get along. So she was curious about any other family she might have. So we bought another kit.
Oh, geez.
We're running
really
it back.
untangling this.
The results came back, and she didn't have many matches, but there was one shining armor, one shining lone star, and the shared DNA showed that she was pretty closely related. So my wife messaged her a day or so later, and she hadn't had a response, so she started doing some digging with this woman's name. She was looking at a Facebook profile that seemed to fit the bill. Her hometown was the area that my wife grew up in. Digging deeper into a fairly private Facebook profile, we found that she had checked in at our local golf course.
Whoa.
We getting close. That was weird. We are 600 miles from where my wife grew up in a county with less than 60,000 people in it. So we looked at every single photo on the woman's profile. No face pics to check resemblance, but I found a clue that would lead us to an answer for all of our questions in about 5 minutes. It was a picture of a UTV. It was a picture of a UTV, a four-wheeler, an ATV, tagged our new toy, and that was taken with the machine on the street, and a street sign was visible in the background. Ooh. Dang. Now that street on the street sign was a street in our very own neighborhood.
Dang. Okay, so they're centralizing on a location.
A 45-second drive from our home to theirs would end up resulting in my wife finding her dad's sister, her aunt, a great woman with an amazing husband that are now part of our family.
Wow.
We are absolutely beside ourselves at our own luck. Ancestry DNA gave me 2 sisters, brother, a brother-in-law, and nieces and nephews. This was fantastic, and I'm grateful as hell.
Aw, so it ended good. Yeah.
But Ancestry DNA turned one of my neighbors into my wife's aunt. I mean, what are the odds? Now I'm low-key jealous because her story is way cooler than mine. I'm keeping things fairly anonymous, but if anyone has any questions, I will respond as best as I can. And there is a quick relevant comment to close us out from Denny Locks. Have you learned why your wife's aunt moved to your area? Yes, her and her husband moved out here for a work assignment. Just random dumb luck. They've since moved, which was sad, but we keep in touch. Wanted to add, I'm not from this town either. I met my wife in my hometown, 500 miles south and about 800 miles from where she grew up. We moved here quite a long while ago. Her aunt had only been here for about 18 months. Sheesh. If that is not a story of the craziest odds humanly possible. I mean,
that is. I think that's exactly what that story is.
I also love how it was like, oh, I found my real dad, but
that's nothing. I found out my neighbor was related to me. I demanded that my son take a paternity test. Did I do something wrong?
Well, here's the question. See, you're a parent and you're like, yo, you need to know if you're a parent or not. I didn't get any get out of jail free card. So why should you get one?
Yeah, I think you should bear witness to understanding whether or not you are my son in front of me. Like open up that 23andMe test like a Christmas present and then really just wallow in the knowledge that you are either my son or not my son.
It would be crazy if you knew that your kid wasn't yours and you're like, here's an ancestry test. Here's a DNA test.
Here you go.
I'm like, why would you tell me that way? That would be wild.
I hate you.
Oh, damn it. That's right.
I, female 39, have 2 kids. Male 17 and female 10. When I was 21, I had a one-night stand, which resulted in my son Austin, the father wanting nothing to do with my child.
Rough.
One-night stand, dude. Dang. When my son was 3, I met my husband, Mark, male 38, and my son adores my husband and calls him father.
Oh, we love that.
Austin met his current girlfriend through Mark's best friend, Alan, her father. Macy and Austin have been close since they were young, and we were all thrilled when we found out they were dating. After we found out, Mark and I sat Austin down and explained that we're happy for him, but we needed him to know the importance of safe sex, whether it was happening or not.
Rap ya Jimmy.
He was disgusted, but said he understood, and we left it at that. For context, my son is what others describe as shy and soft-spoken. He's really sensitive and takes harsh comments/actions to heart. We thought everything was fine with him until he came home crying and he eventually told us Macy had cheated on him.
Oh,
Macy.
Little Austin, Macy, what are you doing?
I was angry and urged my son to leave, but my husband calmed us both and asked to speak with Austin privately. Essentially, he asked Austin what he wanted to do and if he wanted us to stop seeing Macy and her father. Austin said he didn't want that and wanted to work things out with Macy. I was upset, but didn't say anything. And ever since that happened, I've hated seeing her around. Macy, that bitch.
She's only festering her anger.
All I think about when I see her is my son distressed and crying his eyes out. I act cordial around her, but I don't like her. Around February, Austin came home looking rather upset again, so I sat down with him and asked him, what's going on? I wasn't expecting to hear him say what he said to me.
No, don't say it. Don't say it, Sam.
Macy's pregnant.
Oh, I actually wasn't expecting that.
Macy's pregnant.
Whoa.
I was furious. I told him I expected better from him. I also said that before anything happened, he needed to do a paternity test. He was angry that I suggested she cheated again.
No.
Oh, because I guess they stayed together.
Yeah, they stayed together.
They
like
didn't
he
stay
worked
together.
it out. The mom hated her. And now
I thought they just kind of like were seeing each other because they were family friends.
Right.
Oh yeah, because Austin said he didn't want that and wanted to work things out with Macy. Right. So yeah, they were still together. He was angry that I suggested she cheated again, but I didn't like how she was just suddenly pregnant. When Mark came home from work, I filled him in and he was equally upset. And we all sat down and discussed it. Austin explained that I demanded a paternity test was done, and Mark wasn't happy to hear that. I explained that she's cheated before. She could have cheated again. That led to a huge argument before we all calmed down. I asked if her parents knew, and apparently not. He said she agreed to tell them tonight. And sure enough, about an hour later, Mark gets an angry call from Alan demanding that my son marries his daughter. And if Austin refuses, he demands that he pay child support and stay out of the kid's life.
Oh my God. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Of course, we were all angry and exhausted, so I said that nothing was happening until a paternity test was done, and I wasn't taking the word of a cheating little girl.
Oh, dang, mama.
He blew up at us, and it was radio silence after the call. Macy was told she can no longer see Austin, and then Austin took it out on me. A few weeks ago, Alan contacted us and agreed to do a paternity test. I asked why the sudden change, but he ignored me. He said he set an appointment for May 5th. Austin went with Mark. He said he didn't want to be around me. It stung, and I won't lie, it made me cry when he said that. Results finally came in a few nights ago.
Oh, no.
And he is not the father.
Oh, man.
He was shattered. Instead of apologizing, he screamed that it was my fault and he'd never known. He hasn't said much to me since. Better to know than not know, bro.
Austin, what are you doing?
Maybe I was wrong for making him do a paternity test, but I was only looking out for my son. Was I wrong for making him take a paternity test? And there is a big, fat, juicy update. But I want to know from you guys. Put your answers in the comments right this second. Was OP wrong for making her son take a paternity test?
So it is always, when you bring the paternity test in, we've said this 100 times on this podcast, when you bring it in, it automatically, you got to be ready. It's like if you're going to, pull that thing out, you got to use it type of a situation. So
what, you're saying if you pull a gun out, you got to use it? Or were you,
that's what they say.
Were you saying your dick?
Up to dealer's choice.
Okay? If you pull your dick out,
Riley,
you
that was a
gotta
50-50, okay? You can't catch me on a technicality. I think in this scenario, especially if it turns out that the paternity test shows that they're not the father, after that point, I'd say OP's like definitely not the a-hole, because it's like, okay, well, they were, they potentially knew that, and we're trying to pull the wool over the son and the family's eyes.
I mean, OP is exposing. All right, like first off,
yeah,
Austin's a little bitch kid that don't know shit.
A little whining brat.
Little whining bitch. And he just got cheated on and he's a cuck for staying. All right. So first off, that's what I got to say about Austin. Yeah. Second, because he's a little cuck that don't know anything about life, I think it's okay for his mom to expose truth to him. Right.
Yes.
Like, I think she's doing her duty as a parent to expose her child the truth and make sure he's not getting taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And I think by making sure that Austin isn't being just lied to, she's doing, I think, the good motherly
service.
Thing. Yeah.
In the face of him like hating her for
Him
it, which
being
has
a
got to
whiny
be
little bitch.
so hard for
Yeah,
her.
I know. She's doing the right thing, even though it's making Austin whine more.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and you think you're ready to be a father? Come on, Austin.
He's really not, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. He's like, what, like 12 or however old. Anyway, so update. This is October 25th, 2023. So, hello all. I got a few requests for an update, so here it is. First, I'd like to thank everyone for their opinions. I was questioning if I did the right thing since finding out he wasn't the father and thought I was too rough with the situation. We've all been in therapy, group and individual. My son has started to come around and apologize for the yelling and shitty choices. He calls it that, not me, that he made.
Okay.
So it sounds like little Austin is doing some growing up.
Getting there.
His therapist encouraged him to explain his thought process about the entire thing. And essentially, he thought she was the one.
High school love, man.
High school love. Dude. I remember my first girlfriend. I thought she was the one. And then she cheated.
Austin?
I'm Austin. This is written by my mother.
Oh, God.
She was his second girlfriend and thought they had a strong bond until one of his friends showed him a picture of her kissing some other guy. It turned into a big fight and only escalated when he found out they had slept together. I myself have been cheated on, and it made me angry to know Austin had to experience it himself. He said he wasn't happy about the entire thing, and he's feeling guilty for taking it out on me. We hugged it out and got ice cream after. Our little ritual after we've had an argument, which is cute. Austin also, my sister also in the house wants, if anyone sees anyone else's blood, we all have to go out for ice cream.
I'm in.
Cool. Austin also broke up with Macy after finding out. Of course, she blames me for the entire thing, but she's old enough to know that her actions have motherfucking consequences.
Like a baby.
She hasn't been handling it well. Apparently, she's been lashing out at everyone possible and attempted to egg our house. Austin has been quiet, but I can tell he's starting to accept what's going on, and he's been spending more time with friends, which is good. That's what you should do. Invest in your friendships. I've been giving him his space, and I think that's helped in the long run. Now, on to Mark. A lot of people had a lot of assumptions about him, and some even suggested he is the father.
After the paternity test. Bruh.
Wait, that Mark, Mark the dad?
The dad.
Is the father?
Oh, no.
No way. No way.
Oh, no. Say it ain't so.
Husband Mark. No way. That would be no way. But that is far from the truth. Thank God. He's known this little girl her entire life and thought she was better than that. He wasn't trying to save his friendship with Alan. He was allowing our nearly adult son to make his own choices and deal with the consequences of said choices. Macy has also given birth recently, and we know who the father is. Unfortunately, the father was Austin's best friend, Chris.
You've got to be kidding me.
He decided it was a good idea to tell Austin while they were hanging out here. I wasn't in the room when he was told, but I was there when he started to beat Chris up. I was outside setting up Halloween decorations in the front yard when I heard a thunk and some screaming. So I ran in through the front door to find Austin punching Chris over and over again. Mark also heard the commotion and came to pull Austin off Chris. Chris apologized and left. It wasn't until he drove away that Austin broke down crying. We all went out to dinner that night. Oh, heartbreaking. And Austin's been through it.
He's going through it.
Austin's going through it.
I feel bit of a
bad,
break here.
Bro. We all went out for dinner that night and we've tried to cheer him up, but I'm starting to realize he needs space on this and to let him come to me about it when he's ready. Like, I don't want a helicopter parent.
Yeah.
Mark and Austin have been going out the last couple of days. Mark says that he remembers when he was Austin's age and only hopes he's helping him realize that he's got a whole lifetime to find his one. Therapy has helped us out, but I know he needs his space to process this. Thank you once more, and please take care of yourselves. And there are a few relevant comments that I want to read really quick.
Okay.
So Prudence Rigby said, also what happened to Alan. So Alan is
the dad of the girl.
Alan is Mark's best friend. Alan is the dad of Macy. And OP says, as far as I know, he's gotten in contact with Chris and his parents, and they are working out child support. I haven't personally heard from him, but that is what Mark told me. And then Prudence Rigby replies, I wonder if he was hostile with them as he was with y'all. Their friendship survived unscathed, or were they distant up until the paternity test? And then OP said they were distant and they are still distant. So it sounds like that relationship with Alan and Mark is on the rocks and maybe destroyed. But yeah, I mean, with this update, has your opinion changed? Like, do you think that OP did the right thing in making sure the paternity test was done? Pass to you, John.
She literally saved changed her son's life because the dad was already trying to pressure her into marrying her, into paying child support.
Can you imagine?
And he's 17, right?
Yeah.
17. His life has not even started yet. And it would be so different. And then he ends up raising a whole freaking child that is not his. Oh my God.
I couldn't imagine.
So this is the classic case of like, this is the biggest you'll thank me later of all time.
Austin, you dodged a bullet. Your mom is looking out for you.
A real
Thank your
freaking G.
mom. Yeah, your mom's top G, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, what would you do in this situation? Put your answers in the comments below. And also, like, has your child ever gotten knocked up or knocked up someone else? Put your answers in the comments. We want to hear. Or if you heard a story from a close family friend or relative or friend.
And if you want it read on the show.
Yeah. Submit it to r/OKOP show or write it in the comments and maybe put story time somewhere.
I randomly decided to take a DNA test. Now my biological mother wants to reconnect.
I mean, doesn't sound like that much of a problem.
No.
That sounds fun.
I'm a 24 male who was adopted when I was 6 years old. I've always felt incredibly lucky because my adoptive parents, who were in their late 20s when they took me in, have been nothing short of amazing. They've loved and supported me as if I were their own flesh and blood, and I've never felt like anything was missing in my life because of being adopted. By the way, this comes from Purple Sunshine on the OK Storytime subreddit. So growing up, I had very minimal details about my adoption. I know that I was removed from my biological family by social services due to neglect and abuse, but I don't remember anything about my life before I was adopted. It's not something I've dwelled on much because I've never felt like I needed those missing pieces to feel complete or valued. Recently, out of simple curiosity, I decided to sign up for one of those at-home DNA testing kits. I wasn't looking for a reunion or any deep connection. I just wanted to know more about my genetic history, like why I was removed from my biological family and if there were any medical issues I should be aware of. Honestly, I didn't expect to find anyone closely related to me, so it felt like a low-stakes way to get some answers. About 8 weeks after sending off the kit, I finally remembered to check the results, and to my surprise, I matched with my biological mother.
Wow.
She had sent me a message saying she was overjoyed that I had done the test and that she desperately wanted to reconnect with me and the rest of my biological family. She mentioned that she thought of me every day, that I was always loved, and even that I have a little biological brother who's very excited to meet me, something I didn't even know.
Wow.
Her message was really emotional and, to be honest, overwhelming. To me, she's a complete stranger, and reading those words didn't stir anything in me other than discomfort. I spent a lot of time crafting a thoughtful response to Birth Mother, explaining that while I appreciated her message, I wasn't interested in forming a relationship with her or any of my biological family. Wow.
Dang.
That's surprising.
Yeah. Well,
but I mean, like, I get it. You don't know this person.
Right. But then didn't it say, though, too, in the beginning that she knew that, like, she was removed from her family because of, like, abuse and stuff and, like, neglect? It said something about that. So that's, I mean, maybe it was from the father and not the mother, but.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So I would understand why you wouldn't want, I missed that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, just to add it on to not knowing that.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Yeah.
Still.
No, I mean, that is big reason.
Yeah.
I made it clear that my reason for doing the DNA test was purely informational. I wanted to understand my past, maybe get some medical history, and learn why I was removed, but that was it. I apologized if my actions gave her the wrong impression. Birth Mother read my message and replied saying that she'd be willing to give me all the information I wanted, but only if I agreed to meet her at a cafe to discuss our relationship further. That's messed up.
That's weird.
She's like, I'll give it to you, but you must meet me.
Right.
It's like dangling a carrot.
Yeah.
I refused, telling her that I wasn't comfortable with the face-to-face meeting. I offered a phone call as a compromise, but emphasized that I just wanted the information and then for both of us to move on with our lives. She outright refused to provide any information unless I agreed to meet with her in person and discuss our relationship.
Oh my gosh. But also, like, what is there to discuss?
Yeah, I don't trust
There's
this
no
person.
relationship there even yet.
I do not trust this person.
Yeah.
The fact that she's like demanding almost.
Yeah. OP definitely wouldn't or shouldn't go alone if they do go.
No.
Not alone.
I talked to my best friend about this and she sided with my birth mother, saying that I was being unfair. What?
That's weird.
No, like, adopted kids don't owe their birth parents anything. That is like a relationship that if they want, then they can pursue, but no one should be forcing them to have that.
Right. I agree.
She argued that by signing up for the DNA site, I had essentially opened the door to this kind of situation, and that refusing to meet with my birth mother now is like playing mind games and leading them on. Who is this friend?
What about the mind games of saying that, like, I'm not going to give you any info about your medical history unless I see you and we talk about what I want?
So am I the a-hole for not wanting a relationship with my biological mom after I signed up for the DNA testing site? No. And there is an update. There is an update, but no.
Not at all.
And she shouldn't be forcing you into that. That's very icky.
That's mind games.
But there is an update. Hey everyone, it's been about 9 days since I last posted, and I thought it was time for an update. I really want to thank everyone who took the time to comment and offer advice. I've read through everything, and it's been both helpful and eye-opening. So after all the advice and some serious thinking, I decided to talk to my biological mom again, hoping that maybe if I explained myself better, she'd understand where I was coming from. Unfortunately, things went downhill fast.
Oh no.
Instead of trying to meet me halfway, she just got more manipulative, insisting that I was being selfish for not wanting to meet her in person.
Oh my gosh. You're just like making the
Yeah, you're just pushing OP away.
Yeah, like it's so counterproductive.
Yeah. She refused to give me any information unless I agreed to her terms, which was a hard no from me. I've come to realize that I was pretty naive to think that my biological family might be decent people after everything. I mean, I was removed from their care for a reason, but I guess a part of me wanted to believe that people can change. Looking back, I feel kind of dumb for even starting this whole journey. I mean, you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's brought up a lot of emotions that I wasn't really prepared to deal with. And to be honest, I'm feeling pretty down about the whole situation. And as for my best friend, well, that's another disappointment. Your friend sucks.
Yeah.
She didn't just side with my biological mom initially. She's been unsupportive throughout this whole mess. Even after I told her about the latest conversation, she couldn't really understand why I was so upset. She kept saying that I should give them a chance and not be so harsh. It's like she doesn't get how hard this is for me. And I'm starting to feel like she never really did. She for sure doesn't.
Right.
It's tough because I've always considered her one of my closest friends, but right now I'm not sure she's someone I can rely on. After all this, I decided to sit down with my adoptive parents and talk everything over with them. I hadn't really opened up to them about how deep this was affecting me, but they were amazing as always. They were upset when they heard how my biological mom was acting, and they reassured me that none of this is my fault. They reminded me that there's a reason I was removed from that situation, and it's not on me to fix it or make things right with people who've clearly not changed. Talking with them made me realize just how lucky I am to have them. They've been there for me every step of the way, and they made it clear that whatever happens, they're my real family, the ones who loved and supported me no matter what. It's hard not to feel down after everything that's happened, but having them in my corner makes it a bit easier to cope. Honestly, I regret even starting this whole DNA journey. It's brought up more pain than I expected, and I can't help but wish I just left the past where it belongs. But at the same time, I'm grateful that it's reminded me of how blessed I am to have my adoptive parents. They're the ones who have always been there for me, and I couldn't ask for a better family. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to focus on the people who truly care about me and let go of the rest. It's not easy, but I know I'm on the right path. Thanks again to everyone who reached out. It's really helped me feel less alone in all of this. Take care, everyone. And there is an update.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got your adoptive family.
Yeah.
Maybe drop this best friend because she sounds like she sucks.
Yeah, or just like, yeah, I don't know.
Do you have any other thoughts before we get into this update, though?
I just agree. I think this is crazy, but it's like you've got a family.
You have a family.
You know,
who love you.
Yeah, so you're good. You know, I mean, I'm not adopted, but I can imagine that it would be so hard to like, or just such a weird thing in the back of your head to think about your birth family.
Yeah.
But if it's not what you imagined it would be, you got another one.
Yeah, you have a family that chose you.
Right.
But there is another update. Hey everyone, I've been thinking a lot about my family today, especially after everything that's been going on lately. It got me reminiscing about some of the best moments I've had with them, and there's one memory that stands out, something from when I was still a kid that I'll never forget. I must have been about 8 years old, just a couple of years after I was adopted. It was around Christmas time, and I remember feeling nervous because it was only my second Christmas with my adoptive parents. Holidays always make me feel weird, even now. Anyway, my dad's friend owned a Christmas tree farm, and that year, my mom and dad decided to take me to pick our Christmas tree. We spent what felt like hours walking through rows and rows of trees. My parents kept asking me which one I liked best, and I remember feeling so much pressure, like I had to pick the absolute best one or else I'd ruin Christmas. But they were so patient, letting me take my time. Finally, I pointed out a tree. Honestly, it looked like every other one to me, but my parents made a huge deal out of it. My dad knelt down to start sawing, and I remember him pretending to struggle, saying, "Oh no, I think this tree might be too strong for me." My dad made me come over and help him, saying he couldn't do it alone.
Aw, that's really cute.
You have wonderful parents.
Yeah.
So there I was, this little 8-year-old pretending to help my dad saw down this tree. Of course, I wasn't actually doing anything, but they made me feel like I was the strongest happiest kid in the world.
Aw.
When the tree finally fell, my dad swept me up in his arms and spun me around saying, "We did it." So sweet.
This is so sweet.
After we got home and set up the tree, my mom brought out these old boxes full of ornaments. She told me that we were going to start a new tradition. Every year, we each pick out one new ornament to add to the tree, something that represented something special from that year. That night, they handed me my very first ornament, a little wooden bear holding a heart with the word family carved into it. My mom said, "That one's for you because you made our family complete." I remember holding that ornament, feeling this huge wave of love and belonging that I've never really felt before. At the time, I don't think it ever hit me how impactful that was, how that moment defines the way I look at myself today. I was part of a loving family. I was their family. And you guys are our family too. And we want you to join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok. Just tap our profile. But there is a little bit left. But this is really sweet.
This is so sweet.
If you do not have to have a relationship with your biological family,
nope,
because you have this amazing family that
so
are there
amazing.
For you. Yeah,
like that was just so sweet.
So sweet.
Like, oh my gosh, I can't.
I love this. You might have already, but talk to your parents about what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
Every Christmas after that, we'd pull out that little wooden bear and hang it up first. It became our tradition. The reason I've been thinking about this memory today is because it's a reminder of how lucky I am to have the parents I do. They didn't just give me a home, they gave me a sense of belonging, and they gave me love. Even with everything that's been going on, I know that I've got something really special, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Anyway, thanks for letting me share this. I just needed to remind myself how amazing my family is, and I hope it brings a smile to your face like it does to mine. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Lovely, lovely, happy, beautiful story.
Yes, so sweet.
Yeah,
what a good one to end on.
I mean, I love that it kind of went from like, oh, let's look into more of my biological family, and then it turned into like, oh wow, my family has been there for me. Like this is my family.
Right. That was just about to make me cry. That was so sweet. So sweet.
But that is the end of that story and the end of this episode.
Wow.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.
DNA tests could destroy your family as you know it.
Here are 5 stories that get increasingly more crazy to prove our point.
Starting with number 5. DNA test revealed my dad is not my biological father. My mom is still lying about her. Should I confront her?
Yeah. Duh.
What do we think? Carrie, Sam?
No, totally.
No, totally, or yes,
No.
totally?
Yes, totally.
Yes,
Totally,
yes,
do
do
it.
it.
Totally do it.
it.
Yes.
I think even if it could destroy the family, I think go for it, because are you going to carry the weight of the knowledge that your mom is lying?
That is the question, but there's only one way to find out.
Spill that tea!
Highway Gullaby 3998 says, this is going to be a long one, so buckle up. A little background. I am going to be 30 in a couple of months. I have 2 older sisters that are half siblings. We share the same mother. She was married before getting together with my dad. I also have a younger brother that I have thought of as my full sibling. There are a number of reasons I have wanted to get a DNA test, but never had the guts to do so.
Because you're opening Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Until recently.
Oh, Pandora's box opened.
I never talked about this with anyone other than my spouse, but 2 years ago, I went to my brother and asked if he would do a DNA test with me, which would reveal if we are indeed full or half siblings.
I wonder what made her come to the conclusion.
Yes. Why are you suspicious?
There's got to be something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some skeletons.
Which is kind of interesting because they were told they were half siblings and are like, maybe are we full? It's usually the opposite.
Were they told they were half siblings?
I believe you're right.
I don't think
I
so.
went to my brother.
Because they did say
I also have a younger brother that I thought was my.
That I thought. Maybe some foreshadowing in our mix?
But I see you in the comments if you see what's about to happen. I wanted the DNA test because I do not have a father listed on my birth certificate. So that is why. When my mom was pregnant with me, she didn't tell anyone until she was about 6 months along. She was not with anyone at the time, so family members asked a lot of questions about who the father was, and she never gave it up.
Huh.
No one was there at the hospital when I was born.
It's like a mystery box.
God. She has told stories of answered questions I've had as a kid or an adult where things didn't really add up, and my mom lies all the time. I honestly wouldn't even believe her if she told me the sky was blue.
Damn.
Stopping really quick, pit stop right here.
Trauma.
Do we think that OP is going to find out that they're not full siblings?
I mean, by the fact that OP said, I thought that was my brother. I'm thinking possibly not.
Moreover, why would she make a big post about it if it wasn't true?
Exactly. We're on Reddit, of course.
Wow.
Come on.
Dang, I'm
There's
dealing
gonna
with.
be some tea, and we're gonna sip it delightfully.
Oh yes, we are.
Some late night tea.
2 months ago, my brother and I finally went forth and did the DNA test. As no surprise, sure enough, we are half siblings.
Oh.
Wow.
That's spicy.
One of these daddies ain't adding up. This wasn't shocking to me, but obviously I had a lot of questions. My mom at this point still had no idea that we took the test. So I asked my sisters, who were 7 and 10 at the time that I was born, if they knew anything about her pregnancy, when I was born, when I was growing up, etc., etc. They gave me the information they could, as well as another family member. At this point, I called my dad and let him know that we took a DNA test, and he told me he always knew and that it would change nothing.
What?
Wow. So the dad's like, I know that you're not my kid, but I still think of you as that. That's honestly great, because we've read stories where it's like, oh, you're not my kid biologically. Bye.
After like 20 plus years.
I mean, at that point, come on, you got to have some kind of bond, right? Unless you kind of knew the whole time.
Unless you knew the whole time.
I also love how OP is kind of Sherlocking their way through this story. It's like, I went to the aunts, I went to the uncles, I got the DNA test, like going deep.
Oh, super Sherlock vibes.
Yeah, some forensic DNA.
Oh, God.
Investigation.
Now, let it be known, it also changes nothing for me. I just wanted to know if my mom was really lying to me all those years.
Which sounds like she was.
Yep.
Yep. I started asking questions, piecing together information. Back to our Sherlock vibes. Turns out when my mom and dad got together, she was 23 and he was about 12 years old.
What?
Y'all, the math literally ain't mathin'. I'm thinking, well, so here's the breakdown. Here's the breakdown. This dad isn't his dad.
Yeah.
So the whole time, did Opie not know the dad's age?
I mean, I don't know if you've seen in the news with like the teachers hooking up with their like 8th grade students.
Yeah.
It does happen.
It happens.
But I think what OP is saying here is like that, like, oh, it's obvious now because of the age difference.
You never I thought you were Sherlock, OP. You never questioned that your dad was 12 years old.
It's a pretty big clue.
Maybe she had maybe they had a hunch, which is why they did.
Yeah,
the
why
test
they did
in
the
first
test. Yeah,
it's true. It does seem that OP kind of like low key knew, and the dad knew the whole time.
Yeah,
because he was probably like, I didn't give you a baby when I was 12 years old.
Yeah, that's
You know, some kids start shooting early.
Shooter's gonna shoot. Now, okay, hold on. More context into the story. They were not officially together, but she definitely started the grooming process at that point.
Wow.
He went on to get emancipated and started couch surfing, often living at her house. When he was 17, they broke up. He moved on, and next thing you know, she comes in and says, I'm 6 months pregnant and it's yours. So basically right around the time he was becoming an illegal adult.
That's
illegal. That's illegal.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yes.
That is illegal.
Yes.
This woman is a pedo.
Yeah.
She had spent years grooming him and making him whatever she wanted him to be.
What?
To the point where he would believe anything she said.
Well, because he was a child. He was super impressionable.
Literally a teenager.
I mean, if you're groomed for years and like basically fully brainwashed, like, and also a dude dating an older chick.
Yeah.
Listen, you're going to believe whatever she says.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, yikes, dude.
He fully believed I was his child, so he moved in. He didn't go to the hospital when I was born because he was underage.
No.
God.
That is screwed up, guys. This is screwed
so
up.
fucked.
He was never listed on my birth certificate because my mom always had some story about how that was illegal.
Because he was 17. Because she would have been imprisoned.
Oh, this is nasty, guys.
Anyways, when I was 3 years old, they officially split and he started asking for visitation with me. My mom said no, so my dad was going to take it to court, and that's when my mom revealed that he was not the biological father.
Worst time to find out.
Oh,
I feel so
So
bad for my
he's
boy.
known the whole time.
literally since he was 3 and 20 years old.
What? Why?
The father
Wow.
was 20 years old.
Why did he stick around? I mean, I
Respect
props to
it,
him.
yeah, but it's like at that point, it's like, yo, you got groomed, bamboozled, all of these things.
And you don't even have a relationship with the kid yet. So
Yeah.
like, why choose to stick to someone who is obviously so manipulative?
Good question. Knowing this, he went back to be with my mom because that's the only way he would be in my life.
That makes sense.
I mean, well, think about this. He's seen this kid from birth to 3.
Yeah.
And maybe at that point,
I
he's like,
I guess at 3 you probably have a relationship.
Enough of a bond.
And
Yeah.
also, I wonder if part of him, like in a twisted, like effed up way, wants to be with her still.
maybe he might want to be with her still. Also, maybe he's like, I want to be an adoptive father of this kid. Maybe a little of both, possibly. A year and a half later, they together had my brother and went on to stay together as a couple until 2012 when they officially split for good.
Wow.
Never married or anything like that, but still a very nasty split.
Wow.
My dad also let me know during that time he was living with her off and on after he was emancipated because he's literally a freaking child.
Yeah.
She would throw parties at the house and all the young boys in the neighborhood would come over and basically do whatever they wanted.
What?
God. He gave me a name of who my potential father could be. So he probably knew, hey, this is someone who was a regular at the house. He probably saw what was going on. And since all of this has come out, I have had family and friends come to me and give me another name of who it could be. I believe it's either one of these two people, but that's not really what's important here. Having all of this information under my belt, I finally confronted my mom. I told her I did the DNA test, why I did the DNA test, and what the results were. At first, she laughed and told me to stop joking and called me a brat.
What?
Sus, dude. Sus.
That's fucked.
When I sent the legitimate results, she said it was impossible. DNA tests were just wrong.
They're like right 99% of the time.
Yeah, it's like the 1%.
Yeah,
You're
I think it's a
wrong.
99.4% or something like
But
that.
Sam, this is the 1%.
Yeah.
This is the 1%.
0.06%.
It's there.
Literally.
It happens. Imagine being part of the 0.006%. Like that would suck.
Yeah, it's like, I swear I didn't do it, babe. I don't know. Either
That's
either
what the
D-
test says.
yeah.
It's 0.06%, buddy. What do you think it is? And that's
6
the one.
people out of every 1,000 people are just like, fuck.
You're one of the 6. That would be if we found
Which
those
is why you get
stories.
multiple DNA tests.
Yeah.
That
You
is
get one or
true.
two.
That is true.
Yeah.
If we found those stories,
Yeah.
part of the 0.6
DNA test done, gone. Yeah.
That's crazy.
they exist, I'm sure. So I needed to do the test again,
What?
according to my mom.
Oh, to see if he was part of those 6 out of 1,000.
She has spent the last 2 months making me feel crazy, telling me the DNA test was incorrect. I did a paternity test as well, which gave the same result, to which she says is also wrong.
Okay.
She said my dad somehow forged the results to persuade me away from her. All of the DNA tests he keeps forging.
All wrong.
It's
He
all wrong.
hacked into the mainframe of the DNA test place.
No one's hacking into anything, lady. There have been so many lies I have learned over the last 30 years.
Jesus Christ, 30 years?
30 years. She is a classic narcissist through and through. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't do this test because I wanted to know if my dad was my biological father. I wanted to know if my mom truly lied about it for the past 30 years. Family members, friends of hers, and even neighbors I grew up next to have come forward and said that she has spoken to them about this years and years ago. That's almost like 1,000 times worse.
Yeah,
The
why
whole
is she-
family knows.
That everyone knows, right?
Well, why is she lying to her directly? Like, what are you getting out of that? My God.
Truly. And like, also, why would you tell everyone? Like neighbors?
And
Really?
why wouldn't the friends and neighbors say anything to OP? I guess
Family,
it is
friends and neighbors, I could see that's a
Not your place.
A tough
Yeah.
one to weigh in on, but close family.
Yeah.
but it's maybe they're just like, hey, I don't want to open up this can of worms.
It
I didn't
is
even
still
know
tough.
how to open it up.
Yeah.
And we've actually had this question come up on the show, which I'll ask you all right now. If you're a semi-close family member, do you intervene when no one else will?
That's a really tough one
That's
because
a
it's
tough
like,
one, right?
do you really want to invite that?
It will cause drama in your own life for sure.
Yes.
I guess it's like, do you genuinely think this will
help the kid?
Yeah. Is this actually going to improve the people that it's affecting negatively? I think that is a good question to ask. Now, everyone assumed that I already knew and were shocked that I was just now finding out. I have so many emotions regarding all of this. My head is reeling over the fact that I don't know who my biological father is. Obviously, major trust issues considering my mom lied for 30 years and is still lying.
Yeah.
I'm having a bit of an identity crisis because I'm like, who am I? And it's just been
Aren't
so
we all?
overwhelming. Truly,
Aren't
but
we
I mean,
all? Who are we in this universe?
I mean, just I can only imagine.
And my mom isn't even like, I'm having those same questions, and my mom didn't hook up with a 12-year-old. So like,
Jesus Christ, when you put it in that perspective, like that's
I can't
crazy.
imagine what Opie is thinking.
I'm hoping this is a place I can come to vent, maybe get some support through people who understand crazy parents. And I'd also like a little validation that I'm not crazy, that 2 DNA tests are going to be accurate. That is the end of
You are not crazy, Opie.
You are not crazy. And that's all we have.
That's it?
right now. That is it. That is all we have right now.
Well, all right. I think the first thing we need to find out, and this is a Riley question, and we can look it up in the background, how accurate are DNA tests?
That is true.
Because I imagine there are a couple people each year or whatever when they do DNA tests that it's like, oh, I'm part of the 0.06% or whatever.
99.9, y'all.
Wow.
0.01%.
9. Is there more numbers after that? Is it like 99.99999? Like how many?
Oh, great question.
Like how many sig figs we're talking? You know?
How many? Sometimes lab conditions can make mistakes when processing the sample.
Okay. So when it's done right, it's 99.99, but there could be like some inaccuracies from human error. 99.99%. Wow, that's crazy. So 4 sig figs. I think that's how sig figs works.
I have no idea how that. I like figs.
You like figs? You ever heard of sig figs?
Sig figs.
Significant figures.
Oh.
Way back in like the biology and physics days.
The only significant figures I know is growing my bank account.
Hey, yo.
Oh, I respect that.
Only significant figure I know is Riley's hot bod. That figure go crazy and it's super significant.
Dude, it's the most significant.
How do you feel about that?
This isn't helping me, Riley.
Don't
try to teach you math right now because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Okay.
Why'd you get carried in on this?
My bad, guys.
So, first quick question to you both and everyone watching.
Wait, did we make Riley uncomfortable just there for the first time ever?
Like, I'm cool with you guys wooing me, but like carrying it, I'm like,
sorry, guys.
Whoa.
Wait till Sophia.
Let her in on the fun, okay? Yeah, once Sam's sister, once Sam's sister is here and we're all in here, that's gonna be a party.
I'm not used to women like giving me compliments, so that's like my fault.
Oh, okay, you're all good.
The first question is for me: is the dad the a-hole for revealing the truth?
No.
I mean, he's the a-hole for not revealing the truth earlier.
There we go.
30 years, like that's way too late.
Because the mom, sounds like a narcissist, all this stuff.
Yeah.
The dad actually cared for him.
Yeah.
Why
I feel
did he want to tell him?
the dad should have told OP at 18 at the very latest.
Yeah. 18 feels good.
Yeah.
18
OP
feels
knew
good.
at some point something was up though, right?
Yeah.
He was suspicious.
As soon
the
as
whole
there's
time.
questions from, like, I think we've talked about this before. I think it was in relation to like, when do you tell your children about drugs? And the answer was like, at the very least, when they ask.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
I feel like it was literally this. It was like, when do you tell your kids your father is not your real father?
Yeah.
When they
or something
ask.
like that. Yeah.
Or when they're suspicious and then you give them the truth. So yeah, I think OP's dad is the asshole for not saying further. Obviously the mom, like literal offender.
Yeah.
For sure.
Literally.
Really screwed up.
Yeah. So obviously the a-hole, but OP not the a-hole for being the Sherlock that OP is in finding out the truth of this whole family matter.
Final question. Where does OP go from here?
That's a tough one.
Right?
Just
Meditate.
because
Go into a Tibetan monastery and figure out your place in the world.
that's one.
Yeah.
That is a good option.
To understand if you're a jaguar or something. Big mushroom trip.
Joshua Tree.
Church.
Joshua Tree. Church.
All
good possible paths.
Yeah. I think you need some mental healing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you
some
need to kind of
spiritual
like
discipline.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Go on a giant spirit quest, OP.
Do something for yourself, maybe. Give
Yeah.
yourself
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. yourself.
Treat yourself.
Just get a massage.
Yeah, get a
treat
massage.
Get a massage.
There we go.
It sounds like when the North Koreans figure out like what is actually happening in the world. It's not just under the dictator.
Yeah.
This was what this sounds like.
Treat yourself.
Yeah. You know what these
The answer
North
to
Koreans need? They need massages.
Treat yourself there. But speaking of
If the
treating,
North Koreans had a massage and a mani-pedi day.
that would just solve everything,
it would
wouldn't
solve
it?
everything.
My God.
Who needs rice when you got fleek nails?
Speaking of treating yourself, do we have another story?
I think we do. Let's go on
Treat
and
me.
get into it. I will treat you and feed you this story directly into your mouth. I told my dad who his real dad is, am I the a-hole?
Oh, that's some like Inception shit.
Yeah,
right there.
for real. Your dad is my dad.
Oh, you gotta spin the top to see what's real in this crazy world. So this comes from Panel of Judgments. And they say, my grandmother got pregnant with my father around age 16, rather early. My grandmother has always manipulated my father, and he is a mama's boy. She brought my dad as a child in front of a man who denied being the father. Rough.
Very.
So it's just like, this is your dad. And the guy's like, nah,
No.
no.
God.
In 2021, I started to have more serious health issues. I asked my grandmother about health issues for both sides of the family since my biological grandfather passed away when I was about 1. Since my doctors couldn't find answers, I decided to do an Ancestry DNA test and ask some closer DNA matches about my family's medical history. The results I got did not match my biological grandfather's family.
So this is, we're going up a level.
We're going up a level.
Wow.
We have the technology.
We really do, though.
My grandmother confessed he wasn't my biological grandfather and gave me his dad's real name, saying she didn't know much because they were so young, and to ask her sister for more info on their side, who told me all she knew. There was one family name that didn't match to my mom's side or the person my grandmother said was my grandfather when asked. So basically, we just found out the grandmother sleeping on the side with someone who was not what originally OP thought was her grandfather.
Yeah.
So there is a different granddaddy somewhere out in the universe.
Oh, geez.
And that makes it worse because that's a whole like extended family line.
It's a massive lineage.
This is like a long historical story spanning like decades.
Yes.
So.
Decades and generations.
Yeah.
I reached out to the closest cousin with that last name, and from what I told him, only one person matched, but he didn't have his number. I asked about health issues, and he mentioned a couple, but one specifically is an autoimmune disease, which would explain my symptoms. My doctors checked for it, and they believed I had it since birth.
Oh my God.
This autoimmune disease was also causing my blood sugar to drop below 20 around 2021, so I could have died or had a stroke/heart attack.
That's something we never even consider.
Yeah.
Is there like a
There's health implications to all of
there's
this.
health. Wow.
I also recently found out about muscle damage and heart issues, and I'm only in my 20s. So I found a yearbook pic of the guy. So the guy that OP thinks could be
The dad.
the biological grandfather.
Biological grandfather, yep.
And so we found a picture of the guy at 16. My cousin told me about on Ancestries, right? So finds a yearbook picture of the biological, quote unquote, grandfather at 16. And OP showed this picture of the biological grandfather to their family.
Mm-hmm.
And the family thought it was the dad because the biological grandfather looks so similar to OP's dad.
Right, which is a big sign.
Which is a big sign that they're probably related.
Right.
I had asked my grandmother a few different times if she recognized the name of the man that might be the biological grandfather, and she said no. Someone about the same age as my grandmother and the guy confirmed they all went to the same high school and said my grandmother was at the guy's house every single day. What do you think they were getting up to?
You know, they
Studying.
were
Listening to the radio.
doing the twist in shout.
Doing the homework.
Yeah.
Getting
Get jiggy with it, Johnson.
I reached out to a possible first cousin to talk to her about it first, but her father and uncle saw and told her grandfather. Oh, so reached out to a first cousin and are like, hey, I'm going to tell the source, the grandfather. So reached out to a first cousin that possibly is related, and then they immediately told the grandfather.
Right.
So
the potential biological grandfather, called me that day and confirmed that he knew and was, quote unquote, with my grandmother, saying she told him she was pregnant, but didn't say who the father was and then left town for good.
Oh.
He said he never denied his kids, which is what all mutual friends and fam said. So what he was like, hey, I was down to raise the kids, but she just skipped town.
She wouldn't give the
Didn't give him the chance.
Okay.
He wanted to speak with him and build a relationship with the father, with OP's father. I told my father, telling him not to take anything out on grandmother because we don't know her reasons. I figured out who his real father is and what he said, and that he could call when/if he was ready. Which is crazy to tell your real dad, to tell your dad who their real dad is.
Yeah.
Insanity.
He talked to grandmother, who manipulated him into not wanting to talk to his biological dad.
No.
He said, she's right, I'm wrong, and also just don't worry about the DNA proof. She called saying I went behind her back speaking to my girlfriend and accused me of talking to her sister about him, as she was the only one who knew about him, knew about the biological grandfather.
So she's basically confessing.
She's confessing.
I knew. Why did you tell
Yeah,
everyone?
how dare you tell? His own family knew about them, but that's where I caught her lie about not knowing the name of the guy I researched, and it proved she was intentionally hiding who my grandfather was, despite me having serious health issues, because literally OP's life is kind of on the line.
Yeah.
So am I the asshole for telling my father who his biological father is?
No, I don't think so. There is so much stuff on the line. Like OP's health issues, for one, can't really be dismissed.
100%.
That's not something you can just lie about. That's actually really fucked up.
I don't know if we've come across that situation where it's literally like, yo, I have a health issue that is directly tied to my ancestry and heritage.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's why a lot of people do like DNA tests. Like I actually have a DNA test sitting in my room right now.
I did see it.
Yeah, I might get an injection this weekend that makes you live 30% longer. And so I have to do a DNA test before I get the injection in Austin.
My, how the turntables have turned.
Yeah, I know. So I might find some shit that I'm not ready for.
Sam might read his own Reddit story on this podcast.
Mom, are you my mom? Dad, are you my dad?
I've seen both of his parents. It's a pretty safe bet that both of their children are indeed their children.
Sophia looks exactly like me. So
literal clones. Have you seen Sophia before?
I think I've seen videos of her from TikTok.
It is. It's a little scary, to be honest.
Yeah. Sam in a wig. I've seen the comments.
Sam in a wig. Damn. Put some respect on Sophia's name. Come on. Not to diss you, but yeah. Not this guy.
Why would you say she looks so ugly as you?
Oh my gosh. That's brutal.
Yeah, that is really tough.
Pretty brutal. But you know what I want to be brutalized with every day, all day, 24/7, 365?
What?
This next story, Carrie.
Let's do it. Am I the asshole for using my partner's DNA to create a provocative artwork without their consent, leading to a family scandal and strained relationships? What do we have here, y'all?
DNA. I'm imagining like a Jackson Pollock painting that only appears under black light and uses their significant other's sperm to show up. And so it's just sprinkled on the canvas and it's like DNA art.
Do you need to be a biologist to decipher this message? Is it like a cruel, secret, hidden message that like only like freaking doctorate level like scientists?
Nah, I think it's just come on a painting.
Just come on a Jackson Pollock style.
I mean, truly, I mean that could be what this is.
Okay.
Which is a very fancy way of saying that.
You have and you name the, it's your, oh wait, this is kind of fucked up, but it's your son's sperm and you name it Jackson. Like, and it's a Jackson Pollock. Because you're Jack and the son.
Or if your name is Jack and you're like, son, I have a gift for you. Your fallen brothers and sisters.
Oh my God.
These ghost babies are yours.
I would definitely burn that.
Rest in peace, all of
You would burn your siblings?
ghost babies.
Oh yeah.
What?
You would burn your
I'm telling your sister.
Yeah.
Damn.
If it's from my daddy's sack.
I'd be like, if you didn't get in
As
touch
incense,
with an egg,
you would burn it as incense.
No,
I would not burn it as incense.
He wants to inhale it.
No, I definitely do not want to inhale that. Definitely not. That is not the infusion oils that I'm looking to sniff.
You want to get into the story real quick?
Let's do it. Save me, Carrie.
I am a professional artist, and I've been with my partner 5 years.
Okay.
We have an adventurous relationship and often try new and unconventional things, both in and out of the bedroom.
In and out.
Okay.
I feel like we're going to get into some kinky shit really fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's art. It's provocative
It's art.
art using
Fluid.
It's provocative.
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure it's a Jackson Pollock painting.
I think it's going to be some bodily fluid.
Yeah.
For
no,
sure.
So at
right?
some
For
level.
sure.
So he's been always incredibly supportive of my career, and we frequently brainstorm artistic ideas together. That's
Cool.
cute. Couple goals.
I like that.
A few months ago, I came up with the idea to create an art installation that incorporated actual DNA from both my partner and me.
Okay. How are you getting the DNA? What kind of DNA are we talking about?
So I thought it would be a unique way to explore themes of love, intimacy, and the interconnectedness of human beings. To make it more provocative, I decided to use intimate fluids for the DNA samples without discussing it with my partner beforehand.
So called
Wow.
What did she do? Did she like blow them and then she's like, wait, I just got to go to the bathroom really quick and then just like put it in a test tube?
Or like they like used a condom and then after the condom,
Oh,
it's
she
like-
collect it?
That is screwed up. That is fucked
reading
up.
the tea leaves, I think that is the theory. I think that is the one.
Collecting it. That's so weird.
That's
It's like that turkey baster kind of thing.
fucked up.
Basically.
So I assumed, as the artist, he would be on board given our history of unconventional things together.
I want to know what the other things are.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know. I spent weeks creating the installation, which included a large abstract painting that used the fluids as part of the medium. I'm telling you, it's Jackson Pollock.
How much fluid?
I was extremely proud of the final result and submitted it to an art gallery where it was accepted for an upcoming exhibition.
Whoa.
That's a big fucking deal, guys.
That's big.
I mean, it must have been great. I mean, the artwork must have been great, but
Yeah, right? Yeah.
No,
Good
literally.
gravy.
So to celebrate, we decided to host a small party for our close friends and family where I would unveil the artwork before the public exhibition. Yeah.
Like, honey, how did you make this piece of art? Well, first I milked my SO. Gotta get a little
my
milk for the
God.
paint. Oh, it's so white on the canvas.
Why does it smell like bleach?
So here's where the problem began. At the party, I revealed the artwork and explained the concept behind it, including the use of our intimate fluids as part of the medium. That's real bold, telling your family I used my partner's.
I'm saying.
And he's hearing this for the first time in front of all of his friends and family.
Yeah, my partner, who was hearing this information for the first time, were shocked and visibly upset.
Of course.
Our family and friends were also stunned, and the reactions were a mix of shock, disgust, and fascination. The party atmosphere quickly turned uncomfortable, and some guests left early.
This couldn't handle the beautifulness of the art. It's avant-garde.
Art is meant to
Cause
push
a
the boundaries.
reaction. Honestly, like real talk, if they had such a strong reaction, then the artist is probably doing something right.
That is true, but also, isn't there an ethical component of making art in a way that doesn't harm
Oh
anyone?
no, it's still fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still fucked up.
Yeah.
But the arts.
The
arts.
artist.
If OP had just told the partner and the partner was okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't say anything.
Why? Why not?
Like right there.
I guess we're about to find out, but
So,
yikes.
exactly. The next day, my partner's conservative parents found out about the artwork
They're
and were
conservative?
appalled.
Riley, really quick. I'll ask the question afterwards. Or after the question afterwards.
They demanded we remove the piece from the exhibition and destroy it, claiming that it was a disgrace to the family. I refused, standing by my artistic vision and my right to express myself as I see fit. My partner, however, feels betrayed by my actions and wishes I consulted him before creating the installation. Exactly. No shit. No shit.
Common courtesy to ask your boyfriend if you could use his semen
This is so
in the
intimate
painting.
too.
Like this is relationship 101.
Yeah. It's just baffling why she never asked.
That is awesome. behavior, guys.
Yeah,
I'm not
for
gonna
sure.
lie. So since then, our relationship with the partner's family has become extremely strained. They've made it clear that they disapprove of our choices and feel humiliated by our artwork, or by the artwork. Additionally, some of our friends have distanced themselves from us, uncomfortable with the idea behind the installation. My partner and I are being accused of taking our art too far and for involving our families in something they consider obscene and inappropriate. So, folks and friends and families and everyone else, am I the asshole for using my partners and my DNA to create a provocative artwork without their consent, leading to a family scandal and strained relationships? Or am I justified in expressing our love and creativity in any way I choose, even if it means pushing boundaries?
I think it's an easy asshole on this one.
That's an easy asshole.
For sure, asshole.
I'm just kind of like, here's my question. If OP had asked the partner, is this okay? And then the partner was like, yeah. And then I think, I feel like they could have been okay, or at least having a sit down conversation for OP to be able to express, here's why I want to do this. Here's what it means to me. Here's you know the importance of art to me. I think the partner could have come out of that being like, yeah, that's okay. And probably he just didn't want to like show it in front of all of his friends and family, you know, and tell them the origins of it.
Especially if they're conservative, like Riley. If you were dating an art girl,
here we go,
and you're like, hey parents, like my girlfriend's having this big show, excited for you to see it, and then your girlfriend made an announcement that it was using little pieces of you, what would their reaction be?
I mean, I think my grandparents would be very upset. They'd be like, WTF?
Yeah.
My parents would be a little disappointed. My dad would freak out. He'd be like, this is like crazy. Why are you doing this? Like, your cum's on this painting.
I mean, when you say it like that, yeah.
When you put it like that.
Yeah, so like I would be like, do I know about this walking in, or am I just
No,
like,
you know about when she
Exactly
announces it.
as OP.
Exactly same as
okay,
OP.
I would be like we keep
Where did
this
you get
in-
this?
Where did you get this? And we keep this in the house. It doesn't go outside of here.
Yeah. At a minimum, not like, it's one thing to like put it in an art gallery where it's like your like parents and stuff probably aren't going through. It's another thing to put it in their faces and be like, this is my husband's seed.
Yeah, and
planting the seeds of the fruitful tree.
And depending on like
Oh,
how
I
much
like
money
that.
she's getting off of it, I'd want a piece. I mean, if it's like in an exposition, like I don't know what that looks like.
I'm almost like that's kind of dope if he's on board.
Yeah, that's
Right?
a big,
It's I think it so I think it totally the asshole behavior's totally changed if she just says something.
Yep.
Yes.
So like, hey, we're gonna do this, and then I think the other thing that's the asshole is showcasing it to like a conservative audience that like his
That's real
friends and
bold.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think that's maybe a little asshole-y to do that, but the cream of the crop asshole behavior is stealing his seed and not telling him.
I don't think they read the
Yeah.
room very well.
No, they did not.
No.
But you know, some people just don't understand great art.
Apparently.
Yeah. Some people say great art's got to be controversial, whether
Yeah.
you like it or not.
Yeah. I would love to know from you guys, like, do you think this is asshole behavior? Put your answers in the comments below. And do you want to see a Riley inspired painting?
Mhm.
But your big protein's got some big protein to throw on that.
he does.
canvas.
Oh,
Well,
man.
with that, John, do you have another story for us?
I do. I am going to DNA test my brother no matter what. Am I the a-hole?
What?
No matter what, how are you going to get the DNA test from your brother?
Oh, that's a good
Do
one.
we have another case of, people stealing people's seed without consent?
Look, listen.
Stealers.
Me and Riley, we both have family from the South, right? I'm looking at him. I'm like, are we related at all?
Yeah.
What's going on? And I'm like, Riley, I'm going to need a sample.
I need a sample.
By any means
Necessary.
Come and take it, buddy.
Yeah.
I
Riley
will.
has a super spicy dream in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
How did it happen?
Who made me have the gay dream?
That's right, Riley. F around and find out, my friend. So let's dive in.
So I don't know how I'm already seeing the comments as being like, "You're a bunch of like blah, blah."
Oh,
Right over
What's
there.
the
It's
deal
over
with
there.
no sex?
Our audience gets mad at us when we reference sex.
no.
We're sorry.
We have been told.
We apologize in advance. We appreciate and love you for sticking with us.
That we do. Quick edit. Sorry, I shouldn't have assumed it was obvious, but my brother consented to all of this. We've discussed it many times now.
Okay, all right. Consent is sexy,
By any
y'all.
means, meaning I will ethically and for sure get his consent. There we go.
Thumbs up.
We love that. Consent is sexy. I have been waiting until I had enough money to buy a DNA kit, and oh boy, I am about to get paid, which means it's time to make a decision. My father cheated on my stepmother and made me with my biological mother. Wow. So basically, the father was with this woman who is basically his stepmom now.
Yeah.
Went off on the side, had a side piece. That's his real mom.
So he has a baby mama. That's a side piece. Okay.
But the stepmom, she's like basically mothering him and married to the dad, basically.
Stepmom is mothering OP. So the baby
she's
mama.
She's with the father. She is his stepmother.
She is with the father. Okay.
Yes. My biological mother had a child a year before me who she initially claimed was also my father's child, but my father denied him. My biological mother has since passed away. Wow, so much so soon. So
wow.
He also had a brother the year before. It seems like the biological mother is claiming him. Mind you, this isn't the woman with his dad, in a relationship with his dad.
What?
So basically, he's like the side pieces kid, right?
Yes.
The woman
that.
raising him as his mother.
Yes.
The year before he was born,
year before OP was born,
his biological mother also had another kid who his biological mother was saying to OP's father, hey, this is your kid.
This is your kid.
But
And
the
OP's
father was like,
nah.
No. But the father is acknowledging that OP is
That's
his
weird.
son.
Like if you acknowledge one, why not two?
Why not the other?
I mean, it is twice the work.
It is twice the work, but at that point,
yeah,
you're already admitting to cheating and having one.
There's so much lies. I don't think he just wants to keep up with another lie.
Yeah,
maybe that might be why.
Maybe he was just like, babe, I swear it was just once, and once is enough to have a kid.
The math ain't quite math in here, so let's calculate. Growing up, I had no contact with this brother, but now we've connected, and I'd love to know if he is my full brother. Basically, proving the father wrong.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, I see where this is going.
And biological mother has passed away, so they can't even just go and ask her now.
Right.
He has all of my father's feature, looking strikingly like him, so I'm sure I know what the test will say.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my father is not a good man. I worry if I confirm we are siblings, it may inspire my brother to get involved with my father, despite the fact that my brother says he doesn't care that he has no father. So the brother is basically has no idea.
So Opie's almost saying like, it would be better if he didn't know he was related to my father because that man is a dick and will only ruin his life.
Can of worms.
You've got to be a bad person to be like, don't even figure out who the father is. Like, you're better off without a father than knowing this guy as your father. Yikes. I'd rather spare my brother the experience of being close to my father. How likely is it that my brother won't want to reach out to my father once it's confirmed? I feel maybe like I'm being selfish by wanting the test, but to me, it's so awesome because my brother could be the closest relative that I have. Also, knowing more about the lows my father is willing to go to, it would be helpful for me personally as well. It's just another insight into who his father really is. Is it the worst thing in the world if he reaches out to my father anyways? Would I be the a-hole if I start the ball rolling on this and go for the DNA test? Carrie, Sam, everyone watching, that is the question. Would OP be the a-hole for doing the DNA test?
Kind of a multi-pronged answer that I think would be my personal rational answer in the scenario. No, they are not an asshole for getting their brother a DNA test.
Agreed.
But it's not an asshole thing to worry about whether or not the brother will reach out to the father. It's not something that OP can control. It's out of OP's control at this point, what the brother wants to do after. So that's like the difference. Like, yep, you're not an asshole for, doing the DNA test. There's logical reasons as long as you don't infringe on your brother's decision.
Exactly. Like, I think OP getting the ball rolling, but not forcing anything. If the brother doesn't want to do the DNA test, then you should respect the brother's wishes. But if you say, hey, I'm doing this DNA test for me, if you want to do it too, that would be awesome. And the brother does it, then great. OP is only the asshole
if like they manipulate the brother into doing something that they don't want to do.
Which from the edit in the beginning was like, hey, the brother is game for this. Like the brother doesn't mind if I do it.
I think then with that extra knowledge, OP is not the a-hole.
Here's the next quick question. How far do you go if you know that the father is just absolute bad news and you know what? You don't know exactly what's going to happen. How far do you go to kind of like protect your brother from building the relationship with the father? Or do you do anything other than just saying, he's bad news, don't contact him?
I think you just give I mean, you can't stop someone from having a relationship with their father.
Yeah.
But you can give warnings.
Yeah.
And just say like, hey, this is my experience.
It's like, what else can you do?
There's nothing you could, the moment you start kind of controlling what OP's brother wants to do, that's when you become the a-hole.
That's when you become manipulative. Exactly.
Yeah. So you kind of just got to have to let that be and see what happens.
That's true.
But you know what I want to see happen?
What?
I want to see us close out this monster episode with this final story.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I demanded that my deceased husband's children take a DNA test. Am I the a-hole?
Listen, give them a beat, man. They just lost their dad. Like,
at the funeral, all right, I will be taking hair samples and spit samples.
It's like, I object. Do this, and then they're like, "This isn't a wedding."
Funeral.
Dude, like
we are gathered here today to bless this man. I object. Where's the DNA sample?
To what?
It's like everyone's sobbing, boo-hoo, and crying like, oh my God, now take a test.
Yeah,
let's go, guys.
Oh, what if,
party favors.
What if she goes to she's like scooping their tears from there.
For the DNA test.
Yeah. So it's like, you need a tissue, here you go.
Give it back.
Puts it in a bag.
My plan is working perfectly.
So I, 36 female, am the second/final wife of my husband, James. Saying second and final. That kind of sounds like she killed him. 39 male.
That's a whole nother Reddit story.
He passed away. And while we have a baby boy together, James had 2 daughters, Emma 16 female and Claire 14 female, with his ex-wife Lucy 42 female. Lucy was the wife James's parents always wanted for him and kept pushing him to date her. James told me that while he loved Lucy, he was never in love with her and just went through the motions, and told me numerous times that he never would have married her if Lucy hadn't gotten pregnant with Emma. Ouch. James admitted to having a one-night stand with a coworker and decided that he was tired of being married to Lucy, hoping that she would initiate divorce.
That's pussy behavior if he doesn't initiate divorce himself.
Tell him, Carrie. Tell him.
James is just like, I'm going to cheat until she divorces me.
Oh, God.
Pussy
behavior. She wouldn't, so he eventually filed, and I met with him 2 years later. Lucy got it in her mind that I was the other woman and made it her mission to paint me as such. Rough.
Oof.
Even after James was able to prove that it was someone else, I went from an affair partner to the woman keeping James from reuniting with his family. James always defended me and even went low contact with his parents for a while. I kept trying, but after a while, it got to be too much, and I decided to end things. But I did find out that I was pregnant.
Oof.
Oh.
Congratulations, but oof.
Yeah.
Right, dude.
Makes it a little complicated. James and I decided to get married. Great. I feel James is like back to back. It's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I keep having to get married to these people that I impregnate. Never wanted to. And James's daughters did not take the news well and refused to attend the wedding, and his parents backed out at the last minute.
Wow.
Yikes. James passed away in an accident later on, and I was 5 months along at the time.
Dude.
Does this all seem a little suspicious? I'm not saying that like OP killed her husband, but like, I mean, there's motive.
If someone passes away, do they usually like
investigate?
No, like say a reason like, oh, he died in a car accident or stuff like that. Like, is that normal, or do people be
I think someone pushes for the investigation, right? Because someone's like, oh, hey, I think something happened. Or maybe if they're doing like the autopsy or something.
But there's
right?
always like when someone dies. So I did a series on like death for Finding Founders a while ago. And even when you're in a hospice care and someone dies, they send the police to go and look and just like assess, is it natural causes?
Interesting.
Like, and that's the same for suicide and like all these kind of things.
Right. Wow. So is it safe to say that in all scenarios, do they try to to assess if there was like foul play.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but like often it's like there's not really a reason to, so it's
Right.
a more cursory look.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've heard. I imagine maybe it's like big cities, or maybe it's like, I don't know if it
if
happens
they
as much in
know.
the
So because
countries.
if someone's living in a cabin in the woods and just goes kaputs, then how do they know?
Yeah.
But yeah, if they know,
if they know,
then they know.
Or I mean, I imagine if they die in a hospital or something.
Right.
then-
It's like, hey, we're
Yeah.
literally doing all the records and how this is the official part of the procedure.
Yeah, this was specifically what the people I was talking to, they were advocating for, instead of dying in a hospital or in a hospice, like that's like these like super curated, like well, not pristine, what's the word?
Sterile?
Like, sterile. Yeah,
Yeah.
these like super sterile environments. Like why not die at home where they're more comfortable?
Yeah.
But the process afterwards is having to have the police come and
I
make sure you
see.
didn't murder.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we're not saying OP murdered the parents. It's just,
Well, Sam
it's
is,
a
but-
little fishy. When Lucy showed up at the funeral, I just decided to let her in for the sake of Emma and Claire. And then Lucy loudly rehashed her old claims about me and even accused my baby of not being James's.
What?
Oh.
I had my son, and then James's parents, because OP was 5 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And then OP had her son, and James's parents only reached out to demand a paternity test. I agreed if they paid for it. And when it was revealed that James was indeed the father, suddenly they became more eager to see and speak to me.
Now their grandbaby is here.
They were shocked when I denied them access, and it wasn't until after they gave me a sincere apology that I started sending pictures. But when they asked when they could see my son in person, I told them they could have supervised visits once they started treating all their grandchildren equally in every way. James's parents set up a trust fund and started saving to put my son into a private school that I desired, just like they were doing for the girls. Then they asked again, and I said that once they sent proof that Emma and Claire were tested, they could attend my son's first birthday party.
Okay.
So basically, OP is like, you wanted a paternity test for my kid? Why don't you put paternity test for the other two kids?
Oh no, we're getting somewhere here.
Oh.
Right.
I'm a little.
So put them through the ringer, and then you could see your children.
We're getting somewhere.
James's parents were shocked, but I reminded them of my requirement for equal treatment. If my kid had to get tested, then so should Lucy's if they didn't want to miss out on the first 18 years of my son's life. James's parents felt like I was being petty, but guess what? I didn't care. Woo!
Real.
James's parents have now gone to Lucy about a DNA test, and she and the girls are refusing. So James's parents are threatening to cut them off financially. Lucy and her daughters are now blaming me, but I'm already used to the hate, so So the question is, am I the a-hole?
Nah.
I want to know what all of you think, but Carrie, John, is OP the a-hole for demanding a paternity test universally for all children?
Universal
Basic paternity
basic
test.
paternity test.
Yeah.
Which actually we've advocated for on this show. Like immediately when you get born, paternity test to see who's the actual father.
For everyone?
For everyone.
We found that there are, I think France and some other countries, paternity tests are
Mandatory.
literally illegal.
What?
Or illegal? Oh, right. Because everyone's like having
Because
side
it could
pieces.
cause
It could
all
cause
these
France
issues.
to just deteriorate.
Yes.
Why?
So
The
basically, they're
entirety
like,
of France is built on mistresses.
Yeah.
they're like, we would rather our society just be like less riddled with like all of the situations like this where it's like, oh, this person's father is not their actual father or whatever the case might be. No paternity tests.
Yeah.
Just vibes.
Just
vibes.
vibes. Just people fucking and having babies, baby.
Yep.
My God.
So what do you think? A-hole, not the a-hole?
I don't think so. I don't think she's the a-hole. I mean, OP wanted equal, kind of not responsibilities, but equal tasks distributed. I don't think it's an a-hole thing. But
Yeah.
also, I mean, another thing with can of worms, anything could possibly happen, right?
Yeah.
But
I think the thing that I feel like OP is a little bit of the a-hole because it's not affecting just Lucy and it's not affecting just the parents, it's affecting the kids who are kind of blameless in this situation, right?
Yeah. I was debating. I think I'm on the spectrum. I think I'm just below in the not the a-hole corner because like when someone honestly, I kind of wonder if OP is even I almost feel like OP is like making them jump through all these hoops because it's like, listen, I went through all of this disrespect and like all of this stuff. I'm just gonna like keep throwing up loops the same way, like indirectly, but the same way you kind of like threw all of these like BS reasons to disrespect me.
And
Right.
just because I don't want a relationship with
Because
you.
I don't. Yeah, it's like, let me keep giving you these impossible challenges. Along the way, get a fund for my child, for your grandchild, to set you up. So I totally understand the thing of like, look, if you're going to disrespect me, like, hey, we're going two ways. I'm going to disrespect you. But I also totally see what you're saying, that there are innocent bystanders.
But you would agree that the kids are blameless, right?
They are.
Lucy's
They
kids.
are. Yes.
And I feel like they are like maybe Lucy deserves it a little bit, but I feel like kids are. I mean, maybe I guess the kids did hate on OP.
Wait,
too.
what did Lucy deserve though? Was
Because
Lucy a bad, apart from the funeral of where she said stuff to OP, what did Lucy actually do that was, aside
Lucy
from
was the
first wife?
First wife, right?
So basically, when Lucy showed up at the funeral, this is to rehash. When Lucy showed up at the funeral, I just decided to let her in for the sake of Emma and Claire. And then Lucy loudly rehashed her old claims about me and even accused my baby of not being James's. So Lucy is like, yo, that kid ain't even James's kid because OP cheated. And so now OP is like, okay, if you're going to say that I cheated and you want to be like in the family unit and like, and the parents want to be in the family unit, then test her kids too. Test Lucy's kids.
I wonder if there's another way to like it, probably not something equally equivalent, but something that like still kind of like gets the dig at Lucy without involving the children.
kids.
But also to your point again earlier, the children were also hating on OP too, right? Which I could see the animosity because maybe the other kids are like, my dad left my mom for you. So
so maybe there is a little animosity, but it's like justified. Like
they didn't. It doesn't seem like we have any evidence of the kids coming at OP like Lucy.
Yeah, like egregiously.
Yeah.
So I think if OP was doing something that didn't involve the kids but digged at Lucy, I would say like totally not the asshole, totally fine.
Yeah.
But because of this, I think just teetering over a little bit.
Yeah.
Mostly not the a-hole, like maybe 2% a-hole from.
Go all the way. Don't be on the fence. You guys are on the fence too much. Come on. Like,
what do you think, Riley?
I'm on not the a-hole. I'm
overall, I'm not the a-hole. Overall.
Oh my gosh.
Overall, not the a-hole.
What do you think?
Totally the a-hole.
Really?
Okay. Here's my thing. What is gained if the kids are, you figure out who's from who? That just complicates things because they're like you said, Sam, the kids have nothing to do with this. And it's just between two women pointing fingers at each other about like, da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Like
well,
OP was
Let
like.
me counter you with this. If those two kids are not biologically related to the dead father, they have an alive father somewhere out there. So OP getting a DNA test could show the kids who the real father is. And then it's like, shit, dad round 2.
And if the test shows it's James, then it's fine because we already knew this.
Yeah.
But like the immediate caretakers are going to be like, oh, this is from this husband in this situation, yada, yada, yada. And it's going to be like a bunch of like, the kid's just going to have a lot of stress on them growing up.
It will.
Yes,
Yes,
I do agree.
No
I
one
think
wins.
the kids will be stressed. But the thing is, like, OP isn't saying, you kids go get DNA tests. OP is saying it to the parents.
Yes.
Right? Where it's just like, basically like, go do what you did to us to the kids. But I guess what actually to go contrast my point, it is already affecting the kids because the parents are like, no inheritance for you.
Exactly.
So the question is,
Kind of stuck.
Tiebreaker. Every single person watching here, put down below for story number 5, is OP the a-hole or not?
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna say asshole. I'm gonna go
and
back.
I'm on not the a-hole. I think
I'm a not the a-hole.
We
Yeah.
are literally 50-50 split. You all have to be the tiebreakers.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments down below.
Please let us know in the comments.
If you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.